All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Best in Guild Talandre EU Championship Series. We are here for our epic conclusion and the grand finals of Europe here. Today, we will definitively decide who is the best guild in Europe for the Talandre expansion for Throne and Liberty. I am your host, Blue Squadron, joined honestly, as usual, by my co-host, and you're looking kind of spiffy today, LF.
Yeah, man, it's the EU finals, and I decided to wear something that I haven't worn in a while, as something I wear on special occasions for EU, just because the EU boys are special to me, and the EU finals is probably gonna be one of the most intense ones we've yet to see, and yeah, looking forward to the matches today.
Yeah, absolutely. We have two matches today. Both of them are best of three format for EU here. We're going to find out who the third place guild is in EU. That's going to be CallMeDaddy versus Disaster. And then we have our long-awaited grand finals, the undisputed champions of Europe. We have Aura versus Hand of Unity, which, funnily enough, is the exact same matchup we had for the Best in Guild T1 tournament. It's not like this at all in NA East, LF.
Yeah. NA East, man, NA East was kind of like similar to NA West in a way, but like NA East was like had the previous champions in Supple, and then the upset. It was such a quick fall from grace for the side of like NA East. Where Supple went from like the winners bracket all the way down to losers, all the way to being out of the tournament. It was quite a bit of a tragedy to see, the previous champions go out of the tournament like that. But it is what it is. Like, if the more people care, the more they prepare, the bigger chances they have to win. And it's exactly what's going to happen today in EU. The team that wants to win the most and does the most in order to win is going to take it all.
Yep, absolutely. Let's get into the first match. I know that we have a lot of people waiting for us to get started. We're a little bit behind today, so we're going to jump right in to our third place match, which is going to be CallMeDaddy versus Disaster Unleashed. Now, Disaster got third place in the last Best in Guild T1 tournament. Now they're in the third place match for the Best in Guild T2 tournament here, trying to reclaim their former glory once again. Hailing from primarily Russia, Turkey, and Greece, and the Destiny server. They are ranked 2 in their alliance with Hand of Unity, who ironically is in the finals once again. Rank 1 on their server overall. Like I said, Best in Guild T1 finish was third place. And they said they already had enough drama. No more, please. And we heard about some of that last time, Ella.
Oh yeah, we definitely heard a bit of that history last time. Back and forth on voice, on chat. But Disaster today is going to be facing CallMeDaddy from the Zephyr server with their Alliance Unbound Dynasty, close to my own heart. Alliance strength on the server. KDS is always on top of us. Big T1 finish above Sovereign. Just a little bit of a throwback, just a little bit of like shade there. Chat PvP is, censored ETH Reapers. But yeah, looking forward to this match especially after seeing the results from like from the semis like last week.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an absolute banger of a match. CallMeDaddy, again, Disaster, no stranger to being a strong guild in the metagame. Everyone expected Disaster to come out and have a great showing in this tournament, but CallMeDaddy has been the most improved guild from T1 almost without question, and we have them. We're gonna pull them up for an interview very quickly before our third place match, see how they're feeling here. I'll pull in Necro first. Necro, you guys are here to defend your title once again as third place in EU for Disaster. How are you guys feeling about today's match?
Hello, we feel pretty good. We will I'm trying to fill the spot. As you can see, we are missing some people.
Oh.
Yeah, we are pretty hyped and ready to go.
Right on. Okay, so honestly, what do you have? So like thousands and thousands of hours of grinding came to this moment. Tons of community management, all kinds of drama, as you explained before. You guys have kind of been through the ringer here. What do you kind of have to say to the world and to your guild kind of that made it to the finish line here?
Well, I would like to say thank you for everyone in my guild to do their best and stay with us till the end. And also thank you for the guilds that we played. There was good games, and of course we always aimed for the best. We wanted to win this tournament, but third or fourth place is not really bad since we consider how many guilds are playing and how many guilds just apply to the tournament. We are kind of happy. We are not sad at all. We just we will do our best for the third position, and if not, fourth is also good. So yeah, we're
All right.
cool.
Well, Necro, it's good to hear that, man. We're certainly gutted for you here on the desk. Good luck out there. I hope to be talking to you after your match here today, but good luck out there, man, and good luck to both teams.
Thank you. Good luck.
Best of luck.
As well.
Well, good luck casting, he says. Interestingly enough.
Oh.
All right. And now we have CallMeDaddy's Kerr. We talked to CMD Kerr last time. One of the best tanks in his squad here and leadership here. Kerr, very quickly before we get into this match, you guys are, without a doubt, are the most improved leadership core, most improved guild coming into T2, coming into Talandre, possibly in the world. Overall, how are you guys feeling about today's match against the defending champions or the defending third place guild? Honestly, Disaster got third place last time. They're no stranger to it. You guys are the kind of the new people here, the novices. How are you feeling up against them in this match today?
I'd say we're kind of confident that we can pull it through. Kind of nervous because first time, right, in this like actually high like seeding in the tournament, but I think we're confident we can take it home and finish the tournament third place.
All right, on. Go ahead.
And how much is like does this like, I know it's like third place. A lot of people kind of scoff at it sometimes, but you have to realize there were a lot of guilds, hundreds of thousands of people in these whole tournaments that like have not even held hope to get to the position you're in right now. So how much does it mean to you guys to be able to like take at the very least here, like kind of take this throne away from Disaster and in your own hands?
It will mean a lot because I know some people don't have the time after this to actually play, vacation, work. So it will mean a lot to actually give them this. Let's say, like just saying, we got to third place, we managed to come this far and end this chapter third place and not. I mean, even fourth place it would be good, not gonna lie, because that many kills, that many people played, right? But
yeah,
finishing third place would mean obviously more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always about context, right? It's always about saying that, like, yeah, it's third. Some people will say it's only third place, but you can say it's third place above everybody else that fell before us, right? So it definitely means a lot. It definitely means a lot, and it definitely holds a lot of weight. So glad to hear that from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Of the 2,000, over 2,300 participants in Europe, you guys are in the top 144 now left remaining. So do you have anything to say to your guild members, the people watching from home, the people who maybe didn't make it this far, or even just, again, your organization, everybody at home waiting here?
I'm very grateful to all the people who stuck to it, all the people who managed to show up and who kept improving, who kept giving it their best. And I'm just hopeful that we can actually show the results we trained all of this time for in these two fights.
Right on, absolutely. Well, good luck out there, Kerr. We're certainly gunning for you, buddy. As we're about to get into this one, I'll go ahead and move you back down now.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, so we are just about ready to get into our first match. Do you want to talk about pick ban very quickly, before we jump in?
Oh yeah, for sure. So in terms of pick ban, we had a Disaster who actually won the coin toss, and CallMeDaddy is banning here. They decided to ban Manticus, Daigon, Azrael, and Leviathan. So taking out 3 T2 maps and the safety and comfort of Azrael. And guess what? Disaster picked Grand Alon.
Bro, of all the maps to choose, you're going with Grand Alon over here. Is a crazy start. Interestingly enough, we take a look at the compositions very quickly as we wait for the guilds to buff just before we get into this first round of the third place match here. You see 8 spears on the side of Disaster with only 3 on the other side of things here on CallMeDaddy. It is, yeah, we have 48 and 48 in the lobby right now. 8-3 is pretty insane. 16 to 16 wands, 7 crossbows. 7 for CallMeDaddy, and only 3 on the other side for Disaster. What do you make of this?
Yeah, so basically what CMD is, what CallMeDaddy is doing here right now is basically the same strat that Who Asked fell for in the previous matches. This is it's extremely hard to counter, and the fact that Disaster actually picked Grand Alon, you just know for a fact that CMD had a smile on their faces. We saw what happened last time when we did something like this, and it's going to be disastrous for any clumps on the side of a Disaster when they go onto Grand Alon, because CMD, just the same as they did as they took advantage of Who Asked in these rifts, they're gonna do the same most likely here to Disaster.
Absolutely. As we get into our very first match of the day, this is a best of 3 format for the third place match here. You have Disaster in the yellow, and they are very, very good at playing on Grand Alon. This is basically home turf for them right now. Both guilds actually meeting on the Riftstone as they rush over here, and it looks like CallMeDaddy gets caught in that choke point, but Disaster is getting thinned out quickly, LF.
Yeah, they did get caught in that choke point, but the front line led by Kerr here actually is extremely strong for the side of CMD. They push in, they put a lot of pressure on the back line that was supposed to be raining down on the ones that got caught out in these choke points. But unfortunately for the side of Disaster here, that play that they wanted to, that amazing engage that they had was all for naught, because the follow-up was just not there. The follow-up was right underfoot of the front line of CMD that managed to push in and managed to stop them from capitalizing on that good engage. And now CMD, rightfully so, holds the Grand Alon Rift, preventing any other members of Disaster here from really taking ground on the Rift here. And if you can see on the outside, Blue, they're actually getting stopped by the rest of CMD out here. They're getting distracted, they're getting stopped, they're absolutely not making any pressure or any heading here on the Rift, as the rest of their allies are getting murdered on this Rift.
Yeah, right now, I'll be honest with you, CallMeDaddy showing up and putting on a clinic in this first match here. And again, this was Disaster that chose this map. It was CallMeDaddy that looks like they're slightly more prepared to play on it. Both guilds ran out to the stone. It looked like CallMeDaddy was caught in a tiny choke point at the start. It looked really bad for them, but they were able to push through and wipe them regardless. CallMeDaddy showing up today, not even going to make it look close. Wind Whisper with another kill feed right there. That's the Cordy crossbow that is performing super, super well. Here's Kerr right here. We just interviewed him. I'm sure he's happy with how this match is basically initiated here, as we have all of Disaster standing on the slow ground, trying to pull the members of the enemy guild to the high ground. I mean, to the low ground, down to them down there, because look at Disaster. Look at their front lines just getting shredded on the way up here, LF.
Absolutely, and if that good engage was not good enough before, a regular engage is definitely not gonna cut it, especially with these tiny choke points on the way into Grand Alon. We have to realize there's 7 crossbows on the side of CMD right now. We don't really know how many of those are raiders, but we do know that they can field 2 Cordys and 4 or even 5 Burkant Dagger raiders. So if you were on the side of Disaster and you're trying to push through this choke point right now, it is going to be an absolute disaster, like rightfully so, aptly named, because going into these choke points with that many spinners, Cordy or not, is going to be a bad time for you. Like, it's just not possible for you to be able to fend off all those spinners, because again, we've seen how CMD here engages, we've seen how CMD organizes. If they were to call out these spins in a timely manner, one at a time, there's really nothing you can do as Disaster here unless you cover all and every single choke point. But even then, what are you gonna do against 7 crossbows?
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be able to use Burkant Dagger as that is out for the tournament here, but certainly Dagger always typically one of the highest DPS. Typically the highest DPS loadout is whatever weapon you would like and a dagger alongside it, because dagger amplifies that damage on the primary weapon in most cases. Gosh, CallMeDaddy getting really bold right now, pushing out of the Riftstone onto Lunier. Lunier, one of the only Cordy crossbows. I think that might be the only Cordy crossbow for Disaster. It is, and they are just getting focused down and killed every single time they come out here. And now Disaster trying to approach from multiple sides at once. And here they're taking the grapple up on the backside. You see how this is going to go. Miss Liana trying to keep people healed up, but people are dying in their arms. Alan, who is normally a strong tank on the side of Disaster, getting picked apart by CallMeDaddy's backline. Those spell blades with those staffs just absolutely gunning the front line down. Here's EA doing what they can on Disaster as well. Normally one of the better DPS for Disaster here, and you can see how much they're struggling as well. Gonna go down to fall damage of all things right there. Chixie's gonna try to run to the high ground as well. Here we see in Surreal, this is one of the many crossbows that we see this Scorpion user right here. This is one of my favorite classes to go ahead and spectate. So quick, so versatile, tons of damage, but also extremely squishy. One-shottable by almost everybody. Honestly, I've seen Crusaders kill this class no problem at all here. So, but you pump down some of the highest DPS of the game. You can see him protecting this grapple on this side over here, and just how mobile this class is, LF.
Yep, exactly. And right now I was following Wind Whisper here. He was, I kid you not, he was at 1% HP, dashes away, and his healer saves him in the nick of time, and now he's fully alive again, full HP, gets brought down to 20% again, gets brought back up again. His party, this is what I mean when the Cordy is only as good as their party, because any other party that Wind Whisper would have been in here would have meant that he would have died, but instead of dying right there, he gets that spin on the outside track there, gets the kills for his team, gets the dominance that they need on the outside. They don't even need to be on the inside right now. So right now you can see the confidence on CMD. They're extremely comfortable with their current position. That explains why they're able to push out. They're able to kind of like take the fight to Disaster here closer to the portals, despite Disaster having that invulnerability. And unfortunately for Disaster, they're also falling for it. And right now, Wind Whisper on Luminor, the sole Cordy crossbow on the side of Disaster here, and Wind Whisper spins on him. Luminor fights for life, 80% on his HP. He's getting focused. Is he going to be able to get a spin, or is he going to get denied like before? He gets a spin out, but he gets collision right on the wall. Cabedon to the wall, gets stunned, does not do anything, and now he's on cooldown. He's at 20% HP. Wind Whisper from 20 to 100. Again, it's a back and forth between these two Corys. These two are having a dance. It is an absolute waltz by these two carries, and it's only gonna be one. Only one of them will make the good play. Only one of them will make the difference-making play, and unfortunately for the side of Disaster, it is going to be Wind Whisper.
Yeah, Wind Whisper every time. He's been the hard carry for their guild basically throughout the entirety of this tournament here. Wexy trying to stay healthy right now on this side of CallMeDaddy, one of their best DPS overall. We take a look at this. We do know that CallMeDaddy owns the Riftstone at this point. We take a look at the leaderboards though. Look at that dominance right there. Forgiven. There's Wexy, number 2, Pew, and Wind Whisper as we've talked about, but they're as well rounding out the top 4. Mardine for Disaster, the first player coming in for them on that great sword dagger loadout right here. Doing what they can, but I'll be honest with you, Scar for Disaster, but you can see just how far down the leaderboards Disaster actually is sitting right now. It's looking very dire for them. You look over at assists, you look at damage done over here. XB70, who is normally a top like DPS player down here, sitting down at number 4 currently, and honestly that's very admirable given the situation of the map. Rick, the top tank of the lobby right now, and again Disaster just trying to keep up across the board right now as they try to flood onto the Riftstone. 16.5 minutes left. You gotta understand, this is home base for them. They've never lost on Grand Alon to my knowledge, and there's a first for everything, LF.
Yeah, There is indeed a first for everything, and this might be an unfortunate first for the side of Disaster here. And as we saw on the keyboard, on the scoreboard, Blue, that the top performers on the side of Disaster were both Ravagers. You know what that means? That means they're on the kill squad, and the only way that they're getting kills is because they're fighting off the rift, assassinating people that are low on HP, that are on their way back, that are lone run backs from the side of of CMD here, and that's where they're getting all those kills, which means that there is no space, there is no play to be had, there is no impact done, there is nothing for Disaster on the side of the rift. Fight as they might, they're just getting wiped one after the other, and then on the run back, that is the only time that they can find life here. But unfortunately, in order to win this rift stone, you need to be on the rift stone, you need to take the rift stone, and unfortunately for the side of Disaster, they're just not able to do that. At best, they can have their kill squads kind of play life, kind of like get position on the damage done, get position on the kills had there, but unfortunately for them, that is not going to count when it comes to winning this round.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Kokasa get a pretty good spin off right there, doing what he can, pushes people off the edge as well. And it is CallMeDaddy coming up as the particularly dominant guild in this very first round here. If you're Disaster, you've got to be looking at this like it's, well, a disaster right now. They need to start getting their footing here. This is not normally what we see out of Disaster. They're quite organized. They're coming in on things. They're ready to go. You see Alan back here. He's typically a staple tank for them, and this is like the 8th time I've seen him approach from this particular perspective. But look how many red health bars he's looking at here, and oh my goodness, look at that. Arcure comes up behind him and says, get out of here. What are you doing right now? Pushes him off the wall like that. And again, he's just pushing people back and forth like that, just not even letting them approach the Riftstone. There's Necro trying to dive into everyone. We just talked to him. He is certainly having a hard time here as he gets nuked to the ground. And the tombstone is not a good sign. You see Vegas waiting on the outside of the fight. You see Alan very low as well. Where are the healers at? Boone just gets blown away by a focused fireball from the low ground. You see Mardine doing what they can to lock down people on this low ground, basically in a 1v3, trying to fight this out and do their best, but Disaster is really struggling to get up to that Riftstone on Grand Alon here.
Exactly, and when you ask the question, Blue, where are their healers? So it's only one of two things. Number one, they either DC, which they did, and number two, they're getting assassinated before they can even get to the rift. And you can tell very, very quickly which of these seekers are actually building weaken resist, because they're either getting curse bomb, or they are most likely, in this case, they're going to be bursted down by these crossbow users. And if you don't have that weaken resist, unfortunately for you, you are free. You are pretty much free. You're just a free kill at that point. There's nothing you can do. It is the hard counter to you as a seeker. If you do not build against those crossbow daggers, you are basically just that. Once they see you, once they lock eyes with you, it is not love at first sight. There might be some feeling there, but the only feeling that they're gonna get is feelings of murder. And they will come for you, they will hunt you down, and they will make sure you remember them on that next respawn.
Yeah, I've been following Lunar for over a minute, I believe now. I have not seen a single Cordy spin, I don't think, out of him here. He's been very patient, but again, he's there's the Cordy spin going down right there. He does manage to find 4 or 5 kills. That was not bad on the side of Lunar right there. It was a good patience, but then boom, immediately blown away on the side of it. You see absolute pandemonium on the outside of the fight right now. You see Nick on the low ground as well. Here's one of the spear users for CallMeDaddy. Not too many spears in this match overall here, and Nick, oh my goodness, gets nuked down, but is going to go ahead and heal that back up. Spear typically used in the current metagame, gonna get killed right there. Spear typically used a lot in the current metagame for that healing debuff, but honestly, it's tough to catch heals when you're dying pretty quick here, LF.
Yeah, exactly. There's very little that your healers can do. As good of a reflex, as good of micro skills that they have, it's just not enough. 0.1 seconds is still extremely fast for the human hands, and yeah, it's just pretty much impossible. Even with pre-hots, if you have pre-hots on you but you're getting bursted down in like half a second, there's not a lot that your healers can really do for you here. And you can see right now, I'm with Forgiven. He is just free hitting from the side here. This man has not been touched. He's been pulled once, but he gets back up again, gets into position right away, sees the take on the rift, goes inside, bursts the people down there, and then as soon as he's done, he's gonna go on the outside again, take advantage of his high ground, and get the people that are also trying to push in. Because right now, if you're in the side of the disaster, you get this stake. You know that you don't have a lot of these coming, so you're probably getting the call to get in the rift right now and try to fight for it and try to force CMD, force CallMeDaddy to be in the middle so we can burst them all down, clump them up for free. But unfortunately, if you cannot even make it through this choke point, there is very little you can do, and there's very little you can do against these carries like Forgiven that are able to take advantage the moment you step on that choke point with your party.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw some moments of life there as Disaster comes up for air, gasps for breath, gets a cap on the point, manages to get 5 or 10 people on the point, but immediately squashed by CallMeDaddy. 10.5 minutes left to go. At what point here, LF, are you considering what the next map has to be? Because clearly Grand Alon is not the play.
Yeah, so against, we've seen it with their previous matches. CMD, you definitely do not want a small take zone. You don't want a Talus. You don't really want a Dentist. You don't want any of that because like they will take advantage of it. We saw who asked suffer the fate and the result of defeat in their match when CMD decided to adapt and pull out the double Cordy ×4 Ackman crossbows and just decimated the side of who asked in their matches, and that became kind of like a reverse sweep almost with the 2-1 on their side. CMD will absolutely do that to Disaster as they're doing it right now, not just in these choke points, but even when they try to play life inside the rift itself. So if you were on the side of Disaster, you're looking at certain maps right now. You're probably going to be looking at something like Azrael, or probably going to be looking at something like maybe what if we force them into a choke point with Leviathan, even where we can get the inside track. But then again, if they stop you on that choke point, at the very least you still have the cliff side, so you can spread around a little bit, right? You have choices. In something like Alon, you're forced to only go through these choke points. You have no choice. There's no fly down that you could do that will get you in that take zone safely. There's absolutely nothing you can do about this, and the fact that Disaster chose this map kind of like confuses me a little bit because, you know, knowing fully what CMD did in all those maps, I would never in a million years pick a map like this against CMD.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was following Ciali there, another Scorpion on the side of CallMeDaddy. You saw how much damage he was able to pump down just before he got completely blown away. Easily one shot by a guillotine. Such is the life of a crossbow user in a lot of cases. But you can see he was hunting down Lunior. Right there's Ciali again, and you can see Scar looking for him right there. He's got Ciali in his sights right over there. He's clearly got him feuded right now. Ciali's gonna go down again on this one as Scar finds his target right now on this side of Disaster. So at least something is working right for Disaster here. They're great swords, certainly doing their jobs in the field here, locking down Wind Whisper as well. Right there is Scar on the outside of this fight, so doing a great job for his guild skirmishing down here. Sadly for him, the rest of his guild is really struggling to make anything happen on this Riftstone. And again, the leadership cannot get through to try to interact with the stone. You see Forgiven basically pushing through on the stone as well on this Spellblade, just constantly pumping down so much damage into these choke points. Grand Alon is a map of choke points. It is very Cordy crossbow heavy. Like you said, I don't necessarily know if I would say, okay, yeah, I don't want to fight CallMeDaddy on this map. I don't know if I would want to fight on this map with only one Cordy into 2 Cordys when you know that the enemy 2 Cordys are like this good. Like you're fighting into Wind Whisper, right? Like that. It's really tough, LF.
Yeah, exactly. Damn near impossible almost. And he has all this backup just in case he messes up in any way, shape, or form, which he really hasn't. He's actually succeeded to the point that he's comfortable enough to push out of the choke point and then just engage the rest of Disaster here closer to the portals. And it's just a show of dominance on the side of CMD. They're absolutely making Disaster regret even thinking about this right now, and they will happily hand Disaster their first and if correct me if I'm wrong, chat, first ever Grand Alon loss.
Yep, that is correct. At least on the tournament stage, this would be the first time Disaster ever lost on Grand Alon, and that has to be disheartening for them as they step forward here, as they're almost getting portal camped. A lot of them on the side over here. You see CJ hunting down someone on the high ground right there. Again, the great swords on the side of CMD, also no slouch. We saw Scar doing a great job for Disaster, but let's not understate the great sword dagger players on the other side of the fence here. Look at him going in stealth. He's looking for any of the priority targets, bouncing back and forth between the fight, looking for someone he can hunt down here. You do not want to necessarily dive into the middle of everyone, because that is how you end up dying. He's waiting for one of the primary targets to step forward so that he can capitalize. There's Modine trying to lock him down so that he cannot go kill one of his DPS. Now he's the center fire. You do not want to be right there. CJ gonna go down. Well, not everybody can be Scar at the end of the day. It is what it is. Lunier gonna step forward. Oh my goodness, he just Cordy spun, and now he gets collapsed on from the side over here. The rest of CallMeDaddy just clamping down the vice in this first match, LF.
This is really rough for the side of Disaster here, and I'm just looking at Mardine. I'm just looking at all the GS dags on the side of Disaster here. They're choosing almost just to not be able to get in here, because they know for a fact that the moment that they do, they're probably gonna fall, and they're waiting for a kind of like a play on life here on the side of their guild to get some footing in there, and maybe they can stop the rest of their regroupers or the runbacks from the side of CMD, but they just have not found anything. They almost got a kind of like a take here in the middle on the rift here earlier, and at 90% gets canceled over and over, and then their rift takers just get killed right off the bat. And then you're looking at the side of CMD right now, and it's like you have zero threat on the side of your rift. Everybody's outside, and I'm also kind of like observing on the side of the engages here for Disaster. I've seen kind of like their steel hearts misuse a bit of these blood leeches. Usually when you with the new update, especially with the new patch, right, you want to get your blood leech, you want to get in there immediately, cancel out all the hots on the side of CMD. That way your DPS have less sustain to worry about, and have less sustain to kind of like defense break them a little bit here, so that they're easier to kill, they're easier to frag out on, so you could actually gain ground towards the rift. But unfortunately, I am seeing a lot of quite a lot of like the spear users here on the side of Disaster that are just not doing that. And that's a bit of a waste of a cooldown, because usually if you're a spear user, you slot in blood leech. Sorry, you slot in blood leech because for the sole reason of canceling out hots on the side of the enemy team. If you are not doing that, then unfortunately that is an absolute waste of a slot, because that is the only purpose that skill has in a GVG setting like this, and especially for the third place finish in the EU Best in Guild tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're fighting out here. I'll be honest with you, this wasn't just they got beaten on Grand Alon. They almost got shut out completely. They got to interact with the Riftstone one time. They got one cap off in this entire fight so far for Disaster. But I'll be honest with you, I've seen Disaster come back from worse in a lot of cases. I do think that the map did not help them in this case. Having two enemy Cordys that are this powerful while you only have one Cordy crossbow is not necessarily the play. You look ahead to this next map here. We tick onto the 3-minute mark. You need to start looking ahead. It's like, okay, we lost this one. Maybe this wasn't the best choice of map that we could have had. Honestly, I'm thinking like you go full coin flip, like Manticus or something for this.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go Manticus, at the very least, you can kind of like play the high ground, pre-engage, get all the cooldowns from like the DPS on the other side of the enemy team while you rain down on them, and then you can jump down yourselves as the DPS if need be, and then you can finish off the rest fully knowing that the cooldowns on the side of the enemy team has already been dumped onto your tanks. Your tanks have done their job. It is now your turn to wipe them out. But that's about the best that you can hope in a map like Manticus, because like you're definitely not going through those choke points if you couldn't go through the multiple choke points on the side of Grand Alon here. And right now they're trying to go for a take here. 80% gets canceled. They're trying to go for it again, walking forward, 20% HP here. Are they gonna make it? They're gonna try for the take. Necro going for the 20%, gets canceled right away, walks away, and kind of like either playing life here or trying to pull people off, which is a really good strat, especially if you have the extra resistances here from the Naru Spear on the side of Necro. He's building that up. He's getting all those resistances up. But unfortunately, again, we discussed this before, Blue. It doesn't really matter how much resistance you build in terms of collision, because a person who solely focuses on collision chance will always outweigh your resistances. And that's why we even saw in NA West, most of the time it's going to be like the SNS dagger with the evasion. It's going to be the staff dagger with the victorious energy for the extra evasion for them to get those stakes. And that has been the only reliable ways that these stone teams have been able to take these rifts. And if you're still running the resist in this meta, unfortunately you are just behind.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like they're going to run out of time here. 1 minute on the clock. You just need to step back, take a breath on the side of Disaster. It's winnable. You just need to pick a stronger map. You need to rally the boys, get a little bit more organized. I'll be honest with you. One of the biggest problems in this match is I did not see Disaster be as organized as they typically are.
Yeah.
Normally they're working together as a unit. They're all stepping forward together. They're all on the same page. Here it looked like they were all just spread out. They were spawning at different locations. They were running it down, trying to make something happen. And I think that normally that works on Grand Alon because, you know, I'm not going to tell them how to play Grand Alon. These guys are masters of this map, but also it did not work here. So they need to step back and reassess what they need to do better on this one, LF.
Absolutely. And I think the win conditions here for the side of Disaster, at the very least, is very clear. Right, they want to be able to spread out more because they have these steel hearts that have blood leeches that have a big enough area on these blood leeches that they can actually cancel a huge area like Azrael even as they walk across it. Right, so they want to take advantage of these spaces and really force the side of CMD to not be able to take advantage of choke points.
My camera is completely bugged. Okay, so we'll just go through the defeats like this. Whatever. 100 kills on the side of Forgiven here. Nick at 95, Vecto at 72, Wexy at 72 as well, and then Massey at 71. Forgiven certainly putting on a clinic in that fight on that Spellblade here. The corny crossbows for Kolkasa and Wind Whisper. We talked a lot about Wind. We talked a little bit about Kolkasa too. Both of them tying at 62 kills apiece right there. Mardine, Koro Tenshi, and Love, the usual suspects on the side of Disaster right here. Coming in big for them. 233 assists for Forgiven right there. The top for Disaster is Newsen on the healer, which is very impressive. Damage dealt. Looks like it's 6.6 million for Forgiven. Massey, Vito, Nick, and Jabber rounding out the top 5 right there with Wexy down here as well. The top for Disaster looks like XB7, level 0 player Poolman. And then here's Wind Whisper all the way down here. Iea and M-Power down there with damage dealt as well. Damage taken 2.5 million for Sten right there on a Greatsword Dagger. We saw just how impactful those Greatsword Dagger players actually were. Sten definitely getting focused down though in this match. Lunier, you can tell you do not want your corny at the second most damage taken. Your only corny in the match at the second most damage taken. That means they're getting focused really hard by the enemy team. Orga and JLBT, the top tanks of the lobby on the other side. You look at heals. Who is the best healer in the lobby? It's Dejnazus. Nazus. 3.1 million. Cookie at 3 million. Asian character name at 2.8. Spiritual, Kralsi, and Rivna rounding out the top 6 for the healers in the lobby. So honestly, I think they need to go back to the drawing board here on map choice.
Absolutely. And yeah, again, try your best to really not give CMD these like small take zones. It's always going to be a disaster because like at the very least, even if you find some type of like life on the rift itself, all that CMD would need to do at that point in time is just regroup and then send all their guys in, and then like you get spun on multiple times. You only really have one Cordy crossbow to answer, and it's just a disaster for you at that point.
Yeah, a disaster is right. So Disaster now down. They're at risk here for not coming back to defend their title. Again, they were ranked 3 in Europe the last time they came out for the tournament. It's very impressive that as a leadership core, you're able to do that not once, but twice, be able to show up for a third place match like this. But they're at risk now. They're down 0-1 in this series. They took it the last one in Best in Guild T1. They took it 2-0, and they certainly were not going to lose on Grand Elan. So you go back to the leaderboard, or you go back to the drawing board here. I'm thinking like Manticus or some crazy map choice that I think is basically 50-50 either way here.
Yeah, exactly. It is definitely 50-50 on the side of Disaster. They have choices still. You technically can still have these two matches, and there is still a vast like amount of options that you could have here. You don't have the handshake agreement of banning Mordecai like NA West did. That is another option for you as well. So like there is hope here. There is life here for the side of Disaster. They just need to pick the right options for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like that pick ban has already happened. So interesting choice. Not necessarily what I would have gone with. But you know what? So Grand Elan is out of the map pool, guys. You cannot play on a map more than one time in a best of 3 series. So Grand Elan is out. And since Disaster lost, they get to pick in this one. They are the bans on the other side for CallMeDaddy were Manticus. They know Digon, Azrael, and Leviathan. The choice from Disaster, and I can't believe this, they want to go to Talus.
After seeing what CMD did to Who Asked in that map, I don't know, Blue. I'm not quite sure if this is like the best choice for them, but I mean, to each his own. They want an open map, they got an open map, but that tiny take zone is it's a kill zone, Blue.
It's gonna be a little rocky.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's gonna be a little rough, just a little bit of an oopsie. I think that Talus, and again, I say Rocky, and I know that it's kind of a pun, right? Like I'm ready to be a dad someday. You know, it is Talus, right? To big rock build. Now that being said, Talus is a really small point to take, and you can run back from both sides. So the Cordies. Technically,
Multiple
you could
angles.
spread the Cordies out. The Cordies are not quite as impactful. Obviously, not going to be as impactful as we saw in Grand Elan. So, who knows? Maybe they know something that we don't at this point. Or maybe they're just trying to have fun after what happened in that first match. But, like, you know, Necro does not strike me as somebody that's just going to write off the third place match. Yeah, they got blown away kind of in that first round right there. But that doesn't mean they can't come back and take the second one.
Exactly. Necros strikes me as a man who means serious business, and I don't think we're gonna see them give up quite yet. Especially if they win this one, they have the morale advantage, Blue. So if they manage to win this one, that means that going to the third match, it's gonna be in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest with you. Compositionally speaking, normally you would say if I didn't put labels on the guild. LF, and I said there were 8 spears on one team and 3 on the other.
Yeah.
Which team do you think is normally winning?
Usually the one with spears, especially since this is before the spear quote-unquote nerfs that Tico talked about.
Yeah, that's what normally you would say. Yeah, no, they got 5 more spears. It's a shoo-in, right? But we're seeing here again, CallMeDaddy, they're like the honey badgers of EU. They don't care. Honey badger don't care. They don't care how many spears they're running. They're only running 3 spears. They said, how many more crossbows can we fit into this lobby? They got like 7 or 8 crossbows coming into the lobby on their side over here. So a lot of Scorpions favoring that over the spear in a lot of cases here. So it's just an interesting compositional difference here. And I think that they're on to something. As I mentioned before, EU is very good about catching on to the metagame, adapting very quickly to what's going on. And most of they've only got 3 spears on the side of CallMeDaddy, and I'm fairly certain that all 3 of them are gladiators. Or not gladiators. They're SNS spear. Yeah, they're running Del Nuzoa.
Oh.
Yeah, Del Nuzoa spear with an SNS, typically bulwark.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from the looks of it here, they're trying to. I mean, the ledge side on the side of the rift by Talus is not the most like the longest run back, but it is a run back nonetheless, or a hookup. But right, generally, you don't really want to hook up, especially when a bunch of you get pushed up. You all hook up. You all land on the same spot. That is a recipe for an explosive disaster. I know we've been saying that over and over and over, which is an apt description of the situation that the other side gets put into sometimes. But man, if it isn't the most punishing and most annoying thing ever, being pushed over the edge over and over again, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, that Del Nizoa spear coming up big. And then obviously Bulwark, a staple weapon pretty much with any loadout. People love that weapon all the time in T2. Very, very strong weapon. And it looks like both teams are just about ready in the lobby. So we'll flip it over to our versus screen here. Again, 7 crossbows into 3. But again, almost 8 spears into 3. So at the end of the day, I mean, like, bro, apparently crossbows just the play, LF.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you've been very excited about, like seeing kind of like the resurgence of these crossbow daggers after they've kind of been left by the wayside for the majority of like T2, for like probably like the beginning, the middle, and like the first half of the end of T2, of the end game of T2. They've kind of been like left by the wayside and favored over Cordy crossbows, Cordy spinners, raiders in general. But right now, CMD with a plethora of scorpions here, and you know, usually that you would kind of like wonder, I was like, are they sure about that? But we saw the last match, it's the same comp, so you're thinking about it now. It's like, yeah, you know, they made it work, so I can't really say anything about it. You know, Ahmed crossbows taking center stage here for the side of CMD.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You know what we don't see in this match that we've seen a lot more of, especially in NA West, is Dark Blighter. We do not see any Dark Blighters in this lobby. For those of you that don't know, that is Wand Dagger. And that's a very common DPS choice for most guilds nowadays at the top end here. But interestingly enough, not seeing it here.
Yeah, it's a very definitely a very potent build, and I think after seeing the side of the Seekers of Disaster here, not a lot of them actually build weaken resist, and that's one of the reasons why it's harder to resist against the barrage of attacks from Scorpions in general. So yeah, it would have been definitely a potent option here for the side of CMD, and for the side of Disaster here might be the kind of like the diversity in damage that they would have needed, especially with the abundance of spear users that they have here, which means that they are definitely heavy here on the melee DPS side. So having that diversity in damage definitely puts your enemy on their toes. That way they can't just roll just melee evasion just to counter your whole setup. Otherwise they would get blown up by, you know, a low hit, high heavy Dark Blighter.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're waiting for 2 people on the side of CallMeDaddy to join the lobby here. 1 person now for the side of CallMeDaddy. All they got to do is join the lobby. That's all they got to do. It's typically the same password each time in the best of 3 series. So we're still waiting on 1 on the side of CallMeDaddy to get it together there. But it does look like CallMeDaddy looks so dominant in their first match. They have to be super happy about how that first match went. And then they got to be really happy that Disaster chose Talus to go back to. I mean, this is going to be really hard, I think, for Disaster to make anything happen with how one-sided Grand Alon looked. Now, maybe they're thinking, okay, we tried the tight spaces, we tried the close quarters. We want to do something. We would do a map where the corny crossbows are maybe limited a little bit. We can spread out a little bit more. Maybe then I could see Talus being optimal.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you know, Disaster, they didn't get 3rd in the previous tournament, and they didn't get this far because they didn't have a plan in place, right? So we have to put our faith in them that they know exactly what they're doing with the options, especially with the options that they were left there. And to choose Talus out of all the other maps means that they probably have a plan for this one. And I have a feeling that we're gonna find out in the first 10 minutes of the fight exactly what their plan is, whether it's to wait for that final 10 minutes, kind of like give CMD, you know, lull them into a false sense of safety, of relief, and then strike at the very end, or will they go hard from the very get-go?
Yeah, I know. We saw you come up with some interesting strategies yesterday on this same Riftstone. Very tragically, you lost in the final minute and a half on this exact same Riftstone, trying to execute. And honestly, you did a great job of it. It's absolutely tragic the way that it turned out. But, you know, it is what it is. It does look like that the battle has begun on Talus right now. And as you might expect, the colors are the same. Guilds get to choose their colors in the best of 3 most of the time. But, man, that is a red kill feed, LF.
Taking charge of the high ground here at Yellow Disaster, trying to get up here, trying to kind of like osmosis a little bit, trying to wrap around the Reds here a little bit with CMD, but CMD just not letting them do it. The 1s and 2s that are able to get there on the side. You see Kerr on the side there, you see Archer on the side there, you see Seth on the side, just stopping this right now. You're like, you want to wrap around us? It's fine. You can go on the inside there. We'll wrap around you again. Let's call it a double wrap there, and kind of just basically digest the yellow here on the inside. And yeah, it's very interesting. It almost looks like a white blood cell eliminating a threat if you were to look at it that way on the side of CMD. And yeah, just little by little, just, you know, cell by cell, just getting eliminated here on the side of Disaster. And the kill feed thus far is nothing but red-blue.
Yeah, it's looking like my immune system over here. Couldn't agree with you more as an ex-biology teacher and biologist myself. Yeah, it does in fact look like one of those macrophages, basically just blasting down, maybe a T cell blasting down the enemy right now. Interestingly enough, see Ali dashing around in that crossbow, and you can see him going untouched in the middle of the fight for the most part, able to basically put down DPS at will on his opponents here as he dashes around the fight. And this is not what you want to see if you are a Disaster fan here. You don't want to see these Scorpions basically running rampant back and forth right now as he fires now from this high ground up here. It's not the camera being very, very difficult on me. But again, Disaster struggling to get their footing, but finally a kill feed starting to come through for them. Ea gets on the high ground, immediately gets pulled back down on this Spellblade to the low ground. It's gonna get locked down and is now getting hunted down by Zyos and the other Scorpions. Man, there are so many Scorpions here. I have never seen this many crossbow daggers in any tournament worldwide in any match, and they're all on the same team here.
Yeah, exactly. You know what the scariest part, Blue, is these same crossbow daggers can go crossbow SNS at any given time if need be. And I can kind of see what Disaster is doing here. They're going more on the left side, closer to the tree side here, and they were trying to have their DPSers, their staff users, be up on the rocks and kind of like rain down on the side of CMD here, trying to take advantage of the high ground. But unfortunately for them, they were pulled down, eliminated right away, not even given a chance to live or walk away. And then yeah, now they're posturing straight towards the rift. CMD here backing up a little bit, not exactly because they're getting pushed back, but mostly because they're trying to posture closer to the rift here. They're trying to like slowly inch towards the rift as a minute and 25 seconds before it opens. They want to have tempo on this rift, and they want to make sure that their runbacks here from the side of Disaster have to run 2 to 3 times longer than when they were getting stopped there by the base. And it's going to be very much a tough ordeal for the side of Disaster now, because of the fact that like while they're running this extra mile, there's also kill squads from the side of CMD catching them on the way back and just stopping about 2 times the value in terms of numbers on the base of this by Portal 1.
I'll be honest with you though, they are pushing the fight over, and the kill feed definitely has a lot more yellow in it this time than it did last match. They're trying to move the fight. Some of my YouTube viewers on the other side are like, I have no idea what's happening, but it looks interesting. That's fine. They're trying to move the fight over towards this Riftstone right here. This big blue shield of the Riftstone is going to move down in just a couple seconds here. 27 seconds on the clock on the right side of your screen right there. And that's going to open up. That's going to allow the guilds to interact with it. And then it's how many people can you have stand on that point for as long as possible until you own that particular Riftstone. And you can see both guilds starting to shift this fight over toward the Riftstone. And I'll be honest with you, every time CallMeDaddy has tried to move this fight over here, they get massively kill feeded on the side of Disaster. So definitely starting to see some kills come through for Disaster. It's definitely going a little bit better than Grand Alon, probably because they're able to spread out a little bit more on this map. There we go. We have the first interact coming down for Alan. Now Orga's going to step forward and try to do that for Disaster as well. They're desperately trying to interact with that Riftstone. Necro very low on health, catches a heal from his healer as the rest of his guild gets pushed off. Now it's going to be Arcure going to step forward on the other side for CallMeDaddy. He's going to get interrupted by Necro, who then gets pulled away and killed himself. Orca's going to get interrupted as well. Both guilds really struggling to interact with the Riftstone as everyone keeps getting pulled away. Is it going to be Arcure that gets it? Yes, it is. CallMeDaddy is on the board first. They are up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. And you can see they have 16 people on the point right now. Now 20 over their opponent. It only takes one more person on the point than your opponent to really make the difference in this fight. Right now, they've got quite a few more than that. If you've got twice as many as your opponent, the percentage climbs twice as quickly until you reach that 100% marker. We are... Okay, there we go. We got the interact through. Now for Disaster, this is certainly going a lot better than Grand Alon did. Disaster now able to collapse down on the Riftstone. But LF, the question is, how many people are they going to be able to plant on the point?
That is a very good question, and the answer we're getting right now is 5. On the side of Disaster right now. And for the longest time there, for about a good 2.5 minutes, I was following Forgiven. This man was waltzing through the battlefield like nobody's business. A lot of people tried their best to assassinate him, but very, very timely use of cooldowns here, almost perfectly preserving his smoke screen here. But not only that, Blue, I witnessed this man not only frag out as much as he could and avoid like dangers left and right, but he also positioned himself by the Riftstone to smoke screen his cap taker and help him cap at the same time. This man is absolutely just multi-talented, just doing everything for his team. He's getting the frags, he's getting the takes for his team, he's helping that out with that as well, and he's also standing on the point getting numbers on the rift. Why can't every staff dagger in my alliance, in my guild play like this man?
Bro, every shot caller ever. Why can't my DPS ever do this, man? It drives me nuts. Oh my goodness, big Cordy spin right there. And this is the problem with the Talus Riftstone. As we see, it does look like that CallMeDaddy is going to come up with that early cap here. It's such a small capture point with huge wide open space around it. The problem is if you commit too many people onto the capture point, everybody has to stack into a very close space here. It's kind of like a little hug box in here of a capture point, and everybody's standing in there hugging each other for dear life, because honestly you can get killed so quickly. JLBT's gonna interact with the stone. We'll see if he can come up with it for Disaster right here. This might be part of Disaster's plan, as they allow CallMeDaddy to have that sense of security early on. I know that might be copium, but also, at the same time, it is a valid strategy to allow your opponent to cap and then just slowly reverse cap the point yourself. Now, I've always been in favor of being the guild that owns the stone. I know that you are also in favor of it as well, but you saw it. You got reverse capped last time on Tellus. That couldn't have felt good.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is like all it takes at that point in time is just a little bit of carelessness, a little bit of lack of discipline, and getting a little too comfortable thinking that you have it, but you don't have it until that timer ticks to 0. Unless that scoreboard pops up for the rest and everybody else, the match is not over. You cannot get careless. You cannot be undisciplined. Otherwise, the enemy team will absolutely take advantage of that, and that is the point in time where you regret every single decision you made, every minute, every second leading up to that last minute that you got taken. You definitely do not want to be a victim of that, the same way that certain guilds fall victim to it. And then on the side of Disaster here, able to get the take on the Rift, getting the contest on this one, but right now they're 7-14. They're basically less than half of what CMD is here, so they're just gonna lose percentage again, below 10% here soon at 11.1. What can they do? Absolutely nothing from the looks of it, because they have the people. Problem is they're all outside of the Rift.
Yeah, absolutely. Level 0 player trying to step forward right now. You can see him right on the edge of the point, contributing to the point, but look at him taking, he's like, okay, I have to step back here. This is beautiful DPS play right now. He's contributing to the point, to the best of his ability, standing right on the outside right now, trying to help out his guild where he can, pumping down as much damage as he can. But the moment that he gets in danger, he does have to step off the point. It allows him to position correctly on this one. They did fail to capture that Rift Stone, but level 0 player doing great job positionally for his, oh my goodness, gets pulled in right there. That's a Cordy spin. His healer's trying to keep him alive desperately. Another big heal comes down right there, but he's just stuck in the middle of everything. He's gonna go down. There's only so much your healer can do for you at the end of the day. Ravina is gonna go down too. That's one of the best healers in Disaster right there. And they're trying to stand on the point. They are doing what they can to work together. Certainly we're seeing a lot more coordination for Disaster. We're seeing them a lot more locked in this second match of the day here. This is a lot more of what I expect out of them as Necro rallies the boys and girls in that guild forward right now, and they're doing a pretty solid job. Certainly a lot better job than they did on Grand Alon. If we take a look at the leaderboards, I fully expect them to be CallMeDaddy favored. Yeah, if you look at the defeats here, very CallMeDaddy favored, followed by a lot of Disaster down there toward the bottom. But you can see on the damage dealt, though, you can see a lot more Disaster on this leaderboard. We're creeping their way up here. Damage taken. Hey, here's the W leaderboard if you're a Disaster fan. And then again, Ravina, we talked about them. One of the best healers in the lobby, Miss Liana Dick. And you can see the Disaster healers doing a phenomenal job trying to keep them standing. And we saw that just a moment ago as the DPS getting pulled into the middle of everyone. Here's Ravina. This is a very tough spot to stand in as a healer right here, because you're standing right next to all the great swords. You're standing right next to all the enemy DPS, but you need to stand in range of your DPS so that you can get those heals down when they need them. You need to stand in range of your tanks so that you can heal them when they need them. No, my goodness, but you can't stand too close because you get pulled in just like that. Fortunately, they are a healer. Are they going to be able to heal themselves back to full health or even running for their lives? No, they're going to get nuked down at the last moment right there, just slamming the door on those healers right there. CallMeDaddy putting on another clinic, but another point initiate on the side of Disaster here, LF.
Front to back team fight right now going on the Rift side here. Tanks from the side of Disaster jumping in to a group of CMD here that's forced to be on the Rift, forced to clump on the Rift here, but they need to take care of the guys on the back here. Make sure that Luinor on the back line here, trying to get a spin on the DPS, trying to get more space here for his guild. And unfortunately, I think I might have cast a curse forgiven, because like after I mentioned how freely he was waltzing in the battlefield, he's been hunted 3 or 4 times after that, over and over and over. Maybe I should stop following this man, because
don't worry, I'll follow him.
There you go. Despite his good performance, he is now getting focused. I think Disaster definitely paying attention to the scoreboard, seeing the top performers, seeing the top fraggers on the side of CMD here, and then targeting them and then trying to get the kills on them so that they can have more breathing room. And you can see with the push that we just saw from the side of Disaster here, even though they ended up losing the take on the Rift there, they definitely are more confident, Blue. They definitely went for that play, that regroup, that like full-on push to the Rift, and they even had backline access there with their Cordy trying to take out the DPS on the side of CMD here. That way their tanks have more breathing room, their DPS have more space to work with, and they can get the take on the Rift. But unfortunately, CMD, static by static, pound for pound, just ended up better in that particular engage.
Yeah, absolutely. We have chat asking, do you 31 of these nuts in your mouth? Okay, look, you've got fool me once. Okay, shame on me. Okay, fool me twice. All right, get out of here. And if I catch you in a these nuts joke, I get to time you out. That's how it works. So that never again. LF got caught. I got caught in it. No more. I'm done with it. Okay, I've had it the entire tournament, clowns. I've had it up to here with these. No, I got him this time. I don't want to hear it. Now, Disaster struggling with 11 minutes left on the clock in this one. Doing what they can. They're down 0-1 in this series. CallMeDaddy poised to take 3rd place in EU. Coming back again. They got knocked out, I believe, in the 2nd round of the Best in Guild T1 tournament. And pretty quickly overall there. And now, again, looking to take 3rd in this tournament. These guys look so good. You have got to respect the leadership to be able to pull together the guild, really master the metagame, keep people logging in, keep people playing the game, keep people grinding, and stay on top of everything. You got to do politics. You've got to constantly do rift and boonstones, setting up fights, trying to get conflict bosses, and everything for your guild, trying to pull down as many arc bosses as you can. These guys pulled it out. And you look over on the other side, you know, the commitment that we've seen out of Necro. He said himself, he spent something like 16,000 US dollars to try to outfit his guild with enough weapons and arc boss weapons and different things for his guild so that they could be competitive. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Look, I love my guild. I love my community, but I don't have $16,000. I don't know about you. I don't make that kind of money.
You might as well be AGS at that point, sponsoring the tournament, but in this case, it's your guild, and I'm pretty sure that definitely did give them some motivation. But on the side of CMD, the reason why they're the most improved so far that we've seen, Blue, is because of the fact that not only do they are they adapting really well right now, they also adapted really well to the sudden shifts in meta that happened in the middle of this tournament. So that means that CMD really in tune with the meta. Sure, they might not have the pound for pound statics that Aura or Hand of Unity has right now, but in terms of adaptability, we've seen them perform. We've seen Who Asked take one game from them, and immediately the next two games, full adaptation to what Who Asked was doing, and they performed exceptionally well. And I keep repeating that because I have a lot of respect for Who Asked as a guild, because I know that those guys are incredibly good players. Their performance has displayed that, and for the fact that CMD managed to pull one over them means that it's just, these guys are just prepared. It's just, unfortunately for them, like, yeah, sure, pound for pound, they might not win out against Aura, and they're magnificent players. Same thing with Hand of Unity. If you were to put them head to head, but if you were to put them against everybody else, and when I mean everybody else that's like third and below, means that they will take these fights. They will show out, and they will get the results that they want, 16k USD or not.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We saw level 0 players standing up in that tree right there like a pigeon. And I'll be honest with you, I thought this was America with how he got blown out of that tree. I mean, in America, we just pull out our gun. We just say, get that pigeon out of that tree. I don't want that pigeon in that tree right there. And you just blow him away. It's exactly what we just saw. But apparently EU is incredibly based too. Just blasted him straight out of the tree like that as he tried to fire from up above, hoping that no one would notice that he's throwing down DPS up there. We're going to take a look at Scar right here to see if he can throw down the DPS. We saw him locking down targets in that last match in a super surgical way a lot of times, and now you see him trying to do the same thing here, but he's getting relatively low right now. We see them, they've interacted with the point a number of times. Alan trying to interact with it once again. We'll see if he can get the cap off. They do get the cap off. They got up to 15 people on the point last point at one time. So honestly, Disaster showing moments of brilliance, but we're ticking out of time right now. They've only got 5 people on the point. Scar is going to go down on the outside of the fight here without getting very much done. And again, it's just CMD picking them apart, LF.
Yeah, and you can see I've been following Wind Whisper this whole time. He's been biding his time. He's been holding his cooldowns. If anything right now, in order to be more effective, he's actually trying to pull people off the rift and off the ledge here on the side of the hook here, just so he doesn't waste his Cordy spin, because right now there really isn't a full force push on the side of Disaster that Wind Whisper is having to worry about, or even Kolkasa to worry about in this case. That Wind Whisper right now, in order to find a fight, in order to find an opportunity, he actually pushes forward, gets a few of them down there with his guild, and falls back, gets the collisions, gets his cooldowns, and is trying to make it back without having to die here. 100% HP still, and he manages to survive. Again, on the side of Disaster, just a little bit disjointed, if you ask me, Blue.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm a little pissed right now. He said, can Doma do the interview for Aura in the next match? And then I said, I don't trust you, so no. And then he said, Doma, these nuts fit in your mouth. It didn't even make sense. I just want to be clear. It doesn't, guys, it's not funny. It didn't even make sense. Doma doesn't make, it does, okay? It doesn't make any sense. So I timed him out because his joke didn't work. All right, not because I was mad. It's because his joke didn't work, and that's absolutely ridiculous. Under 6 minutes on the clock, though. Disaster running out of time in this one. It's CallMeDaddy putting down their foot on the gas pedal, shutting down every single member of Disaster. The front line for Disaster doing what they can here. And here's Kuro Tenshi on the side of the fight. One of their Spear Dagger players doing what he can here. And again, they initiate another cap on the point, but they only got 2 people standing on the point right now. Kuro doing what he can to step forward right now, but gets pulled off. Look at that. Wind Whisper pulling him off the point, doing what he can in between those Cordy spins.
Oh my god, I've been laughing about it the whole time. Unfortunately, my guy just got red
doesn't make any sense. Stop laughing at it. It doesn't make any sense.
And on the side of CMD here, Wind Whisper being alive this whole time. I have had him tracked this whole time. He's definitely in these yellow side of the map here. Playing life, just not dying this whole time, getting his cooldowns back over and over and over again, spin after spin, pull after pull, getting the like whatever few members that Disaster has on this rift. He just has no mercy. He just pulls them off again. They have 2 in there. That's fine. Now he's gonna pull off 2. Maybe he can pull off 1. Alan here managing to stave off the pulls because he has high enough resistance, but unfortunately 1 versus 11 just ain't it at this point.
Yeah, you can see just how aggressive some of the healers and how unaggressive some of the healers are on the side of Disaster. You can definitely sense the tentative nature of all of the guild. Look at them pulling back from the Riftstone at this point with 4 minutes left on the clock. They may have finally conceded defeat right here. They got 3rd in the Best in Guild T1 tournament. It looks like they're going to get 4th in this tournament because CallMeDaddy was a force that just could not be stopped in this tournament. These guys are the most improved guild worldwide, in my opinion. I have watched every match of every tournament in every guild that has competed worldwide. I'm telling you, these guys look so impressive when you compare them to their T1 counterparts here. These guys should be so proud of their performance here today, and I think the Disaster should be too. These guys have been through a lot of drama. I know that there's a lot of hate out there for Disaster too, because they used to be 4 guilds, now they're only 1 guild. That doesn't happen unless there's some massive drama, like I don't know, somebody starts chopping trees with an e-girl like they do in North America constantly. You know, you see that constantly. But like, I'm not sure what it was necessarily in this case, but I will tell you that Disaster has been through it on this one. And they're gonna come up short, but I say short, but like, I mean, you're talking about being in the top 150 players in EU at this point, with over 2,300 participants in the tournament. Your players are in the top 150. That has got to at least feel good. You get to walk away with your head held high. At the end of the day, you managed to keep it together. Necro and his boys showed up, but with 2.5 minutes left on the clock, it is too little too late. It is going to be CallMeDaddy taking it home, LF.
Absolutely, Blue. And when you think about it, how many EU guilds were there? 46, right around 46 guilds in total. And for you to be the top 4 out of all those, out of the rest, the 42, basically, you were just better than all of them. And that's a lot when you put it into context in that case, right? So hopefully Disaster here just not disheartened by the fact that right now, even though they end up 4th, which is like a step below what they were in the Best in Guild T1 tournament, that they kind of remember the context of it all in T2, in the biggest T2 tournament this game will ever see, in the most legendary tournament in T2 and T1 this game will ever see, that they managed to go up high above 42 other guilds.
Yeah, I'll take that, Glacia. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and say, yeah, best tournament the game will ever see. Let's go. We take that until we decide to do the next one. That's right, baby. Let's go.
Exactly. Yep.
Raise the bar, right there. Yeah, raise the bar every single time. I think one of the big feedback that I've gotten from this tournament is some people want to be able to see the casters' reactions to some stuff every once in a while, so I might add that for the next production here. I don't know. We will see.
Okay.
But Ravenna running through, trying to keep their static healed up with 1 minute left to go on the clock. Disaster just trying to do what they can to get as many kills as possible and put on a good show for their guild as their chapter in Tier 2 Talandre comes to a close here. CallMeDaddies will also come to a close, but will end on a high note as they will take rank 3 in Europe Hold on to your butts, though. We are looking ahead to our first and second place match. It is Aura versus Hand of Unity up next, LF.
Yep. Man, Aura versus Hand of Unity, Blue. I can't even express how excited I am to see that match, because here's the thing. I know people from both sides. I like people from both sides, but man, when it comes to VS versus Hand of Unity and Aura, man, it is game time. There are no friends to be had here. It is only a head-to-head, and whoever is the best man ends up winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, that run back is the same thing we saw in T1. It's the same two organizations from T1,
man.
but we'll get into that in a second. Let's take a look. Let's look at CallMeDaddy for a moment. 90 kills for Forgiven, Massey, Ciali, Nix, Insurreal, CJ, and Pew. Rounding out the top of the leaderboards, you see Wexy, Vito, Seth, and Jabber. All CallMeDaddy all the time on the leaderboards here. Disaster coming in down here. Looney or Mbauer, Regrowth, Koro, Tenchi, Voldy, Chixie, XB7, Laurent, and Scar doing their best to keep up in this match. Rounding out the top end for Disaster, 273 assists for Massey. So impressive right there on that Spellblade. If you look down at the top assists for CallMeDaddy, it looks like Mbauer right there. Damage dealt, 7 million damage dealt for Massey. Forgiven at 6.1. That gap is crazy. Jabber at 5.6, 5.5 for Vito. Pew, Nick, Mbauer, Wexy, Kolkasa, and Lunior, and Wind Whisper all rounding out the front page of this lobby here. Damage taken looks like almost 2.6 million for Rick on the Crusader. For Disaster, Lunior on that Cordy crossbow, really struggling as he was focused most of the match here. JLBT, one of the cappers there, doing a great job for Disaster as well, and XB7 as well. Mucklekin and Pew coming up big on the side of CallMeDaddy for damage taken right there. It looks like a mount healed, 3.1 million for Ravenna. It's consistently one of the top healers in almost every lobby that she was in. They were in. Def Rhea, Stern, Asian character name, Miss Liana, Spiritual Cookie, Spicy Fabi, Moriposa, Kelsey, and Kuruthar, the top healers of the lobby across the board for both guilds. It's good fights to both guilds, but it's CallMeDaddy taking home this title.
Yeah, exactly. And CallMeDaddy, man, this is such an impressive run from CMD. I've seen the adaptations that they've made, and honestly, I could, if you were to ask me, can I see CMD in the finals in lieu of like any of the guilds that are on there right now? I'd say I actually wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but I would say it's 50-50. They were very close to it. Just a few more adaptations. Maybe if it was like a best of 5, even like we might have even a best of 5, even like we might have seen them like take a match or two after the adaptations that they were able to make in their previous matches, Blue. So it's just very impressive on the side of CMD here, just because of the fact that like the reason why they can adapt it the way they did, especially with their previous matches, is because it's not because it's on the fly, right? You have to realize like these adaptations are able to be made because of the fact that they had these builds ready beforehand, and because they had these builds ready beforehand means that they had already identified the meta, and not only identified the meta but also executed upon it, and then executed it to the best of their abilities in the upcoming matches, especially against a powerhouse like Aura.
Yep, absolutely. It does look like we are waiting. There's Kerr right there. Let's pull him up here. Kerr, you guys are ending on a high note. You guys got to be happy. CallMeDaddy with a phenomenal run through this tournament. Over 2,300 participants. You guys are going to come up in the top 150 for your guild right here. Top 144 to be exact. I mean, how does that feel right now?
Feels great. Feels great to end on such two decisive victories. Just to end it in a just good memories for everyone. I hope everyone involved in the guild.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out to participate in the tournament. I offered NA West the same offer here. So as the third place guild in all of Europe, which by the way is a crazy impressive feat, guys, you have to understand, Europe is all one region. North America is separated into NA East and NA West. Europe is all that they have almost twice as many guilds in one place. So to get third place in Europe is such an incredible feat for a guild to obtain. Clearly, you guys are masters of the current metagame in EU over here. Do you have any feedback to potentially give respectfully? What you liked about the Talandre, what you didn't like maybe about the game currently, what you think could be fixed as respectfully as possible. I ask that you would give that feedback now.
I would say the most frustrating part of the game, like game mechanic, is the evasion system, in my opinion, like how it works compared to endurance. I think endurance feels better than evasion, like gameplay wise as a mechanic, right? So if maybe there is some way to fix how evasion works, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be happy, because it's my personal experience as well is the most frustrating part of some fights. Just that will be what will come to mind, honestly.
So speaking of evasion as well, like I would like to ask your opinion on it as well, because like I think this is something that's been discussed even back in Korea. How do you feel about heavy attack as an offensive stat? Do you think it's balanced? Do you think it should exist in the game the same way that like evasion should or shouldn't?
I think heavy attack is fine, but I'm a tank with a lot of heavy attack evasion, so like maybe I'm kind of like I don't suffer that much compared to some people that maybe get one shot. But sometimes it happens to me as well. Like a spell bit decides that, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill him, and he just goes 16k on me, and I say, oh okay, sorry. I think heavy attack is more fair than evasion, but could be that I always play tankier class, so not really my place to say.
Absolutely.
Right on. Yeah, no, okay. So I'm glad you got the opportunity to give some feedback there. Do you have anything to say to your guys, your guild, your leadership core that have kind of come this far to basically climb this mountain, to grind for these thousands of hours? I know that leadership is basically a full-time job. It's a little bit more than a full-time job in a lot of cases that you're not getting paid for, and most of the time you're definitely not going to get a thank you for. Do you have anything to say to your guild and other leadership members that basically made it this far with you?
Can I just shout out say names, or sorry, just to be check, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for all the people who stuck in the guild, even when we weren't that good, who kept believing and giving it their hardest. Leadership doing a phenomenal job, like the other guys put an insane amount of effort. I'm very grateful for them, who kept playing, kept going at it, kept tryharding and trying to, even at some point we were kind of struggling, we kept going. They never stopped believing. If I have to shout out some people in particular, I will shout out Vito, Wind Whisper, Subsidium, Naxter, McBlastyface, Mukol, and Vito, which are the people, Vito 2 times them, which are the people who give, in my opinion, the most help. There are some other cases as well, can't really shout out everyone, but like we received a lot of help from the people who recruited as well, because they actually managed, like we recruited new people and then we learned something new from them, because as you pointed out, we weren't that good in tier 1, we weren't that good at the start of tier 2, so we had to learn from a lot of people. So to whoever who helped the guild, helped us improve, thank you a lot.
Right on. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations to CMD for ending their Talandre run here on a high note. We hope to see you guys hopefully in the next expansion and the next best in guild tournament that we see, and potentially maybe fingers crossed on an inter server between NA and EU. I'm going to ask you as a parting question. Do you feel that CallMeDaddy, how do you feel that EU would stack up against NA?
I didn't see all the new matches. I heard some stories. I think EU will easily win, because I heard they still play Liberators, so I think will be kinda win. But you never know. You never know. But I would say that, yeah.
Well, hey, Bo is getting buffed as per Tico, okay? Clearly he's a North America fan, so it is what it is. All right, it is
Yeah,
what it is.
maybe, yeah, for
We're
sure.
just ahead of our time. Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The lids are just data miners. You gotta.
Sure.
You know.
Hey, Liberators
Liberators
counters melee evasion, right? So broken. Yeah, I think it.
True.
Right on. Well, Kurt, thanks for joining us here. We're gonna move on to our grand final match now, buddy.
Thank you
Go
for the
celebrate with
tournament.
your guild. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, what a
all right.
giga Chad.
What an absolute alpha. Okay, all right. Now, we are on to our feature presentation. The moment that everyone has been waiting for, the most anticipated finals that we have seen worldwide. Remember, EU has almost twice as many guilds as any other region in the world because they're all on the same server, and it is down to 2. Hand of Unity versus, you guessed it, our boys in Aura, otherwise known as Sin from back in the day. This is the exact same matchup we saw in the Best in Guild T1. These guys are the master class across expansions, across regions. These are some of the best guilds in the entire world, and they show it every single time there's a tournament. Here these guys are again in the finals, and it is going to be a nail biter. Aura from the Conviction server, made up by Dusk and Dawn, make up Aura together. They are 2 guilds that run under the Aura title. Rank 1 on their server. Best in Guild T1 finished. As I said, they're the defending champions. They're just trying to be modest there. Their prediction was 1st or 2nd, so they've made that happen, LF.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely made it happen here. And on the other side, we have a Hand of Unity looking to dethrone and looking pretty strong from the Obsidian server, hailing from mostly the country of Egypt. And their alliance made up of Hand of Unity first, Unleash, Greed, and Visceral. Alliance strength on the server is 1st, and Big T1 finish is 2nd. Chat PvP, finally people are forced to fight us instead of dodging, and indeed they were right. They went through the whole tournament fighting guild per guild all the way to the finals, and now here we are again, the Battle of Titans Blue.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get ready for this one. Let's move it back to the caster desk. Let's see what the guilds have to say about one another. I'll pull them in one at a time here. I'll pull up Aura's Kiri first down here. So, Kiri, you represent Aura, the defending champions of the Best in Guild T1 tournament. You're now back to defend your title once again. How are you guys feeling about today's match?
Yeah, everyone's been pretty hyped, just looking forward to this match. We kind of expected to make it to the finals and fight hands since pretty much before the tournament even started. So we've been ready and planning for this day for quite a while. I think everyone's excited to finally get here today.
Right on. Well, super glad to have you guys here. I mean, so you guys are super hyped up about the match. How confident do you feel? I know that before you felt it was going to go either way in T1. Do you feel that you've kind of gotten the edge in T2 here? You ended up with the edge last time. You ended up 2-0ing them in the finals, if memory serves, in the Best in Guild T1 tournament. Do you feel that that gap has widened or closed between Hand of Unity and you guys?
In the scrims that we had in the past, I think it honestly closed. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the maps and just how everyone's feeling. And I think with the way everyone is today, like with the high spirits and all that, I think our guys should be able to pull it through, clutch up again, like we did last time. I think even if it was normally going to be close, I think today we should be able to pull it away fairly comfortably.
Right on. Okay. All right. Very confident. Do you guys think it's going to be 2-0?
I hope so. I think with the pick and bans, maybe they get a sneaky map in against us, but it should be a 2-0 again.
Right. Okay. Right on. So very confident. Now, is there anything you want to say to everybody? You guys have climbed the mountain of leadership. You guys, I know this is a full-time job, and you guys have been on top the whole time. It's not easy. It's not easy being on top like this all the time. It ain't easy being the best all the time. Constantly having people show up for their show up for their Rift and Boonstones, show up for their guild bosses, show up for everything. Log in, keep that grind going, keep recruitment going. Is there anything you want to say to all of your leadership core members and the rest of your guild that kind of has made it this far? The guys that are getting to the finish line with you here.
Yeah, I'm proud and I'm grateful for everyone that's made it this far with the guild. I think everyone's done their fair share. Everyone's put in that effort. But most importantly, I just want to say big thank you to Timeless. He handles most of the guild leadership for Aura. He's been looking after us really well for like the past few months, and we wouldn't be here today without him. So big thank you to Timmy.
Right
W
on.
Timeless.
Yeah, W Timeless. Hey, man, this is where you get to speak out on that. Well, regardless of what happens, Gary, we will be talking to you after the match. I wish you all the best out there. Go get your boys ready.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Best of luck.
All right, and now we have Hand of Unity, Sebi. Sebi, can you hear me here? They are muted. They are muted. Okay,
hello?
there we go.
Can you guys hear
Sebi,
me?
all right.
There we go.
All right, Sebi.
Might be phone microphone, so I'm apologizing for that.
Are you speaking through a pillow? Are you from Mount Everest? Bro.
Listen, my phone is bad. I'm on holiday.
You're on your phone. That
Are
is
you on the beach?
absolutely
Yeah.
wild.
Oh.
All right. Well, honestly, apparently it's
I'm really sorry for that.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. Okay, so Sebi coming to us from his Motorola Razr. Over here, apparently the microphone on his phone isn't super great, but Sebi, you guys are back here
Is this
in the
better?
grand finals. You're back here in the grand finals once again. Here, fighting the exact same organization that you ended up losing 0-2 to last time. How are you guys feeling about today's match? Are you more confident that you can take it home this time?
Incredible.
Can
We-
you repeat that last sentence?
Are you guys feeling confident about today's matches into your opponents that you lost to in the Best in Guild T1 tournament? This is crazy.
Can you guys hear me?
This is
Yep. Loud and
Alright,
clear.
it's
Loud
a-
and
it's
crazy.
like a Verizon
Okay,
commercial
sorry,
is
my
what this is.
connection
This is
cut out.
crazy. That's Hand of Unity going, this is
I need it.
All right, so yo, Sebi, I just need you to tell me how you guys are feeling going up against your rivals for the Best in Guild T1 tournament that you lost to there. Are you guys feeling like you can beat them today?
It's honestly feeling good. Everyone put in a lot of effort. We improved a lot. We have been scrimming them. We've been having good results. So I think everyone's ready tonight.
Right on. Well, okay. And is there anything you want to say to everybody that has made it this far in your guild? You know, some people struggling to get across the finish line here to grind it out. I know how much time goes into leadership core. Is there anyone you want to give a special shout out to in your leadership core? Or maybe you just want to tell off at the end of the day? But anything you want to say to the boys and the girls?
Nah, I appreciate everyone joining. Especially Kohai with me did a lot the last few weeks. Sadly, he can't be here either tonight, so it will be interesting without him or me, but I'm sure everyone puts in so much effort that they got this easily tonight.
All right, right on. So lacking a couple leadership members, as I believe it sounds like they're on vacation. At least it sounds like you're having a good time, and at least you're going to be able to watch from wherever you happen to be right now. Well, we wish you guys all the best of luck. We'll ask you guys to kind of come in at the end, regardless of what happens here. Certainly, we're hoping for some close matches today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
You.
That is crazy. That was their that literally this is the best Hand of Unity's like this is the best we can do. This is our honestly my favorite part was watching chat go, that's my GM. Like they're so proud.
Is he shot calling from the beach, or is there a dedicated shot caller as well?
Yeah, I just bro, honestly, there is nothing better to me than watching PvP guilds dog on each other for just absolutely scuffed leadership stuff like that. I have shot called before from like a Jack in the Box drive-through. Okay, so like, you know, like they're super scuffed like that. That is what makes That's where the boys become men, okay? That's how you make lasting bonds with the rest of your guild, all right? That's how communities...
That's how legends are made.
Yeah, that's how communities are formed right there. Either way, we are ready for the first match. LF, you haven't gotten to talk a whole lot. I'll let you cover the first pick ban here.
All right, so the first pick ban we're looking at right now, Hand of Unity actually won the coin toss here, and well, they choose to pick. And on the side of Aura, they decided to ban Pacolo, Manticus, Chernobog, and Talus. A bit of a mishmash here, Blue. You have your high ground ones, you have your kind of like split ones, and you have your kind of like flat ground with Talus, only to end up on Azrael.
Azrael of all things. Right. Unbelievable. Okay, all right. So Azrael is the most like reasonable, level-headed, basic Riftstone that you could possibly choose. Clearly, both guilds think that they want to keep it level-headed at least for the first round here until one of them gets the upper hand. We'll see what happens here, but this is a best of 3 series. This is not a double elimination tournament, so whoever comes out, maximum of 3 games, we will know who is crowned Kings of EU on this one. Again, Hand of Unity won, so they chose Azrael here. Hand of Unity lost to Sin, or in this case, Aura. Now, they're called Aura now, but they lost to Aura in the Best in Guild T1 tournament. So, like, clearly they feel a lot more confident now if they're choosing Azrael, Ella.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you could see the comfortableness in the GM of Hand of Unity there. I didn't sense a single bit of worry in his voice. So it kind of tells you, like, yeah, picking something on Azrael that is basically whoever is pound for pound the better guild ends up winning. Is a power move on the side of Hand of Unity, if you ask me.
It is kind of a power move. Now let's take a look at compositions. These are the Kings of EU. So this is what peak performance in EU looks like, and it does look like that Aura is running 48 crossbows. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see what people would say. Anyway, the 18 wands against 17 wands, honestly, in favor of Hand of Unity here. So one more healer or maybe Darkblighter on their side of things. 7 to 8 spears and slightly in favor of Aura here. 6 crossbows on Aura, only 4 on the side of Hand of Unity. 16 to 17 bows, very close there. Slightly Aura favored. 4 staffs and 4 staffs. 15 great swords on the side of Hand of Unity, but only 13 on the other side of Aura. 19 SNSs, and here's a big difference. 19 SNSs on the side of Hand of Unity, but only 15 on the side of Aura here.
And you know what, Blue?
Yeah, 16.
You know what?
On,
you know what? On the side?
Hold on, 16 daggers on the side of Aura and 13 on the side of Hand of Unity. Yeah, go ahead now. Like that's crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is indeed crazy. You know what else is crazy? Out of the 19 of those SNSs, 2 of those are Templars, Blue. That's SNS wand right there, and you can already guess one of the names of those guys is just blocked. So you know for a fact that is a curse bomber.
Yep. You love to see the curse bombers, but honestly, I wonder if there's any dark blighters in the lobby. Well, we're about to find out as the match has begun. It is Azrael, the first Riftstone of choice. Not too much surprise here, as both guilds want to try to keep it inbounds for this one, but they are both spawning at the exact same point, and it is action all over the place. Right now, we have Hand of Unity in the red, Aura in the yellow. Right now, as both guilds go head to head, and I'll be honest with you, the kill feed's looking very close here, LF.
Yeah, exactly. And on the side of Portal 3 here, there's actually 2 Aura that spawned against the kill squad, or no, 3 Aura that spawned against the kill squad of Hand of Unity here, and they just got absolutely blasted. And now these guys will make their way back to the Rift where the rest of the fight is happening right now. And that was a little bit curious. I wonder 2 or 3 people spawning. I'm not sure if they were just lost, they made a mistake, maybe the nerves are catching up to them a little bit here, but that is such a crucial mistake to make at the start of this fight. Luckily for them, it is still 3 minutes and 55 seconds before the Rift opens, and it's looking it's looking pretty good on the side of Hand of Unity here, getting control of this choke point, of the small stairs choke point here that leads from Portal 1 and Portal 2. And you can see right now Aura on the outside track here, looking to regroup so far, but there's there's kind of like a lot of red here on the small choke point. So if they get caught on the entrance here, they are gonna fall for it.
Yeah, right here. Clowns over here constantly with the D's nuts joke in this chat. He better hope he doesn't die a single time in this match, because on God, I'm gonna light him up like a Christmas tree. If he does, you are so bad. Oh my God, you are horrible at the game. Oh my God, imagine being that bad. Holy 31 of these fit in your mouth. That much we know. Anyways, look like over at Timeless over here. I'm not mad at all. There's no resentment whatsoever in my voice right now. But I'll be honest with you. Kill feed very back and forth so far. Aura looks like they're on top of it right now, though. As we see, I haven't seen Zachariel at all. And, oh, there he is. There's my boy right there, basically running back and forth. It looks like he might be on union break. There we go. He gets pulled back and forth. Remember, guys, he is the healer for the Corny Crossbow party with Altzy right there. So you see Altzy right in front of him. Basically always right next to him, and he sees he gets pulled in. You can constantly see him monitoring him like the president over here, like the prime minister, if you will. This is EU. So constantly trying to protect him all the time so that Altzy can get those spins off right now. And I'll be honest with you, Aura looking pretty good so far in this match. Hand of Unity, but putting up a good fight. But honestly, I'm starting to see a lot more yellow in this kill feed. We take a look with 2 minutes left to go. We're 3 minutes into the match so far. I'll be honest with you, defeats on the leaderboard cried at the top for Hand of Unity. Dusk. That's Aura, Hand of Unity, Hand of Unity, Hand of Unity, Aura, Hand of Unity, Aura. It's very, very back and forth on both sides right now. I'm honestly not sure who's actually on top of this match. Look how back and forth it is between the top two guilds in EU. Please do not tell me they are spawning at Portal 3. Oh my God in heaven. Why would you spawn up here? Stop doing this. What are we doing? Like, LF, what is happening?
I think I see a small contingent of Hand of Unity spawning here, and my guess is probably they're trying to get a flank here on the side of Aura, because right now Aura has almost full control of this small choke point by the small stairs leading from Portal 1 and Portal 2. And you do see a bunch of reds here on the side of Hand of Unity on the outside trying to catch the runbacks as they're running back into the rift zone here, seeing as we're only about less than a minute now before this rift opens up. And yeah, they're just trying to reduce the numbers on this side here, and there's probably a call on the side of Hand of Unity to kind of like go over there, push from behind, get them some pressure on the side of here, because otherwise they're not going to be able to push in. They're going to have to go through the broken wall. And as we can see, if you go to the side of the broken wall here, to the eastern side of the map, there is about a contingency of about 2 parties of Hand of Unity here trying to get in. But unfortunately for them, there is another 2 groups of Aura right there to stop them from getting in, so they can't even hit the backline here on the small choke point to assist their members from getting in. So Aura doing an extremely good job of kind of like investing their resources just in the right place with just the right amount to get this head to head and get this kind of like distraction on their side, so they cannot do as they have planned. And again, as I say that, the rest of Hand of Unity needing to back off here because they just cannot make it past this choke point. They cannot assist their boys, and that is probably why they're being forced to go to Portal 3. But unfortunately for them, that also doesn't really quite work out here, as Aura just asserting dominance, especially now with the rift open. They don't even care about the rift right now, Blue. All they care about right now is just pushing and kicking Hand of Unity in the teeth for even daring to kind of question their dominance, to try to even step to their realm and step to their throne. And Aura right now showing exactly why they won the first tournament of T1.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's hilarious that our kids are talking smack about Zachariel in the chat. I mean, you wouldn't say this to him. You wouldn't say this to him in person. He's absolutely jacked. Not only that, he wears the freshest clothes you've ever seen on stream. He eats at the chillest restaurant and hangs out with the hottest dudes. Totally gauged, by the way. Y'all are just pathetic. Unbelievably enough. That's for that coming pasta is crazy. Right there. But I'll be honest with you right now. I think that do not like that Hand of Unity regrouped to 0.3, but unfortunately enough, they're not doing it anymore. Well, there's one static up here still. And honestly, having one static spawn up here is probably okay. They can come in on the flank. That's fine. Not the end of the world. It's when your entire guild spawns up there. And clearly, they were struggling with these spawn campers, as you were talking about before. The spawn campers really giving them a lot of problems right now as you give us the main perspective of the fight. I'm going to go over to these spawn campers out here. Billy the Kid out here trying to interrupt or trying to get past these interrupters. Steven, this... 1 or 2 statics out here for Aura, causing a lot of interruption. But I'll be honest with you, Hand of Unity still able to flood toward the Riftstone. Interestingly enough, choosing not to interact with the Riftstone quite yet on this one is Aura, who has been on top of this. But again, we see Hand of Unity pushing through. They're getting a solid amount of kills. That the kill feed is still back and forth, but I think that Aura has stronger mastery of Azrael overall, perfectly designating their statics to the various choke points and the various respawn points. Raids looks like he's going to step forward and interact with it here, but KW is Kiri. Now, the guy we interviewed before, that is him right there. He's going to try and interact or stop that interaction right there. Oh, he's going to get pulled. Oh, he almost got pulled off the edge right there. It does look like the interaction has started. Looks like Aura has decided to pull the trigger and interact with the Riftstone here with 17.5 minutes left to go. Interesting to wait only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or so, but hey man, they got it done at the end of the day. So Aura starts to climb in percentage. They only have 17 people in the point against the 13 from Hand of Unity, but Hand of Unity struggling to get onto the point now, despite the fact that they're able to get a lot of kills here. I just don't see them able to get onto the point, LF.
Yeah, exactly. And Moglu here waiting in the wings. All these frags coming in from the side of Aura, and this guy has not even spun yet. He is waiting in the wings, waiting for the right moment, biding his time as he gets spun on by Kami, but he survives and he lives with 30% HP, goes forward, spins himself, gets people low, gets some kills, and gets the rest of the static there down to 20% HP, and you see them fall almost immediately after. And then Calyx there following up for Hand of Unity with a spin of his own, getting a few kills on their side. And right now 21 from the side of Hand of Unity on the inside track here. 10, less than 10 now from the side of Aura. What is going on here? Hand of Unity getting kind of like taking over the tempo versus Aura here on the side of the Rift. I wonder if this is part of Aura's plan. Will they actually try to give this over to Hand of Unity and then take it back in the last 10 minutes? That's a little bit risky when the fight is this close.
You do not hand it to your opponent when the fight is this close. Hand of Unity just winning out right now for the battle on the Riftstone here. It does look like that Aura slipping up in their control of the Riftstone, as it looks like Hand of Unity is going to tick over 50% now as they move forward. They lost in the Best in Guild T1. They do not want to come out and lose in the Best in Guild T2 to the exact same organization as before. Aura came in with a really good plan, but now Hand of Unity just throwing the kitchen sink at them. Finally, Aura managing to try to get back on top of this. Their percentages are going to start to climb now. They're at 30% against 56 on the side of Hand of Unity. A very close match between these top two guilds, but you could see the reason Aura is coming out on top. Look at this choke control on the left side of your screen here. You see Wen Clowns right here in the middle of everything as well. Again, just holding down this little choke point consistently like this to try to keep those red health bars, to keep Hand of Unity from coming through here. Gets pulled in, CC'd. Now he's the one under a lot of threat, but he does manage to step back onto the point. They do have 24 people on the point compared to the 14 of their opponent, and now they're the ones ticking over 50%. Now it's Hand of Unity under the gun, and it is very back and forth. No, Hand of Unity back on top once again, and you're seeing everyone spawning from the low ground and trying to get through this little narrow choke here, LF.
They were at 49% each, Boo, exactly at 49%. It cannot get any closer than that. We have a banger on our hands. Had to be very careful not to curse there because I'm just so hyped right now. But now Hand of Unity, despite not having the tempo in the very beginning, is now at 25 with Aura at 14. Despite Aura having control of the small stairs choke point, but they just don't have enough people. I see Zacriel on the inside track here right now, inside the take zone, which means that their Cordy Spinner is on the inside. They're about to take control. They're about to get their boys on the small choke point back into this rift, and as you can see, they have full control, more than double, and they're going to take back the percentage again, with 80% being on the side of Hand of Unity here. They're fighting back. They're getting it down. They're getting themselves up there by 53%. Hopefully getting past that, but Hand of Unity, what is going to be the response here?
Bro, what is going on? 76% for Hand of Unity, and it's Aura battling back at 60. I'll be honest with you, with 13 and a half minutes left to go, you almost don't want to cap this. I think that both guilds are playing a delicate game right now. I don't think that either of them wants to cap this. I think they're both just trying to get it within striking distance so that they can get it down to the wire as we get closer and closer to the end of the match here. I do think that we will see one guild trying to cap it, but whoever tries to cap this first almost certainly will be reverse capped. It doesn't matter which side it is, because both of these guilds are extremely close. Looking at the leaderboard, 13 minutes left on the clock. Look at this. 2 Aura, 2 Hand of Unity, 2 Aura, 2 Hand of Unity, 1 Aura, 1 Hand of Unity. It is back and forth the whole way down the leaderboard right now. A lot of Dusk, then a lot of Hand of Unity on damage taken right there. Damage taken back and forth as well. The amount healed. Dark Ronin at the top of the leaderboards. Ichiyubu at the top of the leaderboards as well. If you scroll down to the not as good healers, the terrible players, down here you see Zacriel scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm just joking. He's an absolute god right now. But Hand of Unity actually takes control of the Riftstone at this point, and Aura fully backs off. I have to believe that this was intentional. I think that they wanted to hand that over to them because I think that they can reverse cap on this LF, and I would say that they're right. If you could look at the main engage on this one, I'm going to take a look at the side engage, as it looks like a lot of these Aura are going to come around the side of the fight. Yeah, hold that choke right there. We have Aura on the left side. You can see both choke perspectives right here. Thank you so much for giving us that other perspective right there. You can see they're trying to set up a multi-prong engage. Are they coming? Oh, they're coming from the top. High ground as well. You can see a few members up there battling for life, but here's the engage going to happen on the low ground. Zacriel diving across. Altsy's going to try to dive in and try to find somebody, but not going to find anything on this one, and it's a very scattered fight as Hand of Unity just lets them through the door on this one. A good engagement, but honestly, I don't think that Hand of Unity had any intention of holding that choke point.
Absolutely not. They let it go immediately. They saw Altsy go and beeline for that small choke point to get on the DPS on the side of Hand of Unity, and they dispersed immediately, foiling the plans on the side of Aura here. A masterful stroke, if I say so myself, on the Hand of Unity here. Definitely an incredible maneuver here to kind of like catch them off guard. They had a plan going in, but what happens when your target is no longer there and the plan goes awry? It goes on the favor of the people that maneuvered it correctly. And now with 10 minutes left, although the kill feed is pretty Aura favored in the past 30 seconds here, it's not enough because, again, despite having the numbers on here, you do not have to take on this rift, as Potwar, I'm not even going to say that number because I know what that means now, is going to try to take the rift, and he is going to get it 90%, and here we go. Here it goes. Another fight for the rift. 28 on the side of Hand of Unity, 28 now, 24 on the side of Aura, and we're going to see a back and forth again. A very close back and forth between these two, and this is exactly why I didn't want Aura to give over this rift, although now the onus is on them to try to take this over. With 33, 34 on the side of Hand of Unity, they can easily cancel this in the next 10 seconds as long as they maintain this.
Yeah, absolutely. You heard the man. LF said verbatim, Hand of Unity are master strokers on this one. Absolutely caressing that engagement. Interesting terminology to use there, but Hand of Unity, honestly, shutting the door on that cap right there very quickly. Aura got the cap rolling and had the door shut on them immediately. Here you see them all grouped up on this choke point. Here you see them starting to mobilize for a flank right now, and you can start to see Hand of Unity like basically trying to cover both choke points at the exact same time as you give us the main choke. I'll look at the flank choke here. You look at the top line, you only see two people up top right now on this side of Aura, so we'll see if they can make something happen here. Most of the guild rotates to the left now. I expect them to pull the trigger any moment now. You can see the rest of them waiting outside of that main choke over there on LF's screen. But we're waiting for them to pull the trigger. They have 9 minutes left on the clock. It is do or die. You have got to get going on this cap. It took many minutes to get the first cap off in this match. And now Hand of Unity, who got second and best in Guild T1, is now poised to take the first round of this one on a very even Riftstone, which is Azrael. Aura is taking way too long to get this point go off. Keck W looks like he might go down. No, the engage does begin though. Both guilds come through on both engagements right here, and it looks like Aura is getting the upper hand as Kimseer gets a couple kills right at the start of the fight. Alti gets a solid spin, but Cammy comes back with a spin on the side of Hand of Unity right here as the fight is super back and forth, but Hand of Unity seems to maintain control of the Rift at a critical moment, LF.
Oh my goodness, Blue. That you could see them kind of like tease Aura a little bit as I was looking at that main choke point. You know what Aura was trying to do. You know that they were trying to get that jump on Hand of Unity, but Hand of Unity actually making a blank concave semicircle almost in front of the choke point, luring Aura in. And as soon as they jumped in, neither of their engagers work, and then Hand of Unity just kind of like engages on them with their tanks, and anything, any dashes, any play that they tried to make got stopped right then and there. Again, a very, very, very calculated move on the side of Hand of Unity here, and it was just such a masterful play to actually witness the fact that Aura was trying to go back and forth, trying to like tease them a little bit, trying to see if like, oh, are we gonna engage? Are we not gonna engage? And Hand of Unity is just there, standing there, stone faced, ice in their veins, just absolutely not even falling for it. And even though Aura now getting the advantage in terms of the kill feed here, there is still no take. There is 7 minutes left,
doing?
Blue.
Bro, what are they doing right now? They're not even interacting with the stone. They have full control of the stone. They wipe Hand of Unity off. Now Wen is finally going to step forward and interact with it. And look at the backside of the device. Japu's one of the top DPS for Hand of Unity. He got the interrupt on Wen right there. Interestingly enough, he did save that. Then Wen gets pulled off. The Hand of Unity members diving through. Look at that absolute alpha. Muku constantly interrupting. Can he interrupt it one more time? He does. What an absolute alpha. The only man back here for Hand of Unity interrupting this cap, and now Aura cannot get this cap down with 6.5 minutes left to go. It is Muku on the front line, standing tall as the wall for Hand of Unity as the DPS start to back him up now. He's getting low on health. He said, no, I have to die for it. Finds Wen. Can he interrupt him again? He does it again. Muku cannot be stopped, and now it looks like Hand of Unity has taken back over the Riftstone. What a critical moment that was right there to see Muku come up and make that play. He was the only person in range for Hand of Unity, the only person that they could lean on in that moment. If Aura gets that cap initiated, they absolutely have the time to come back and make this stone happen right there. They can pop Guardians, they can surge, they can make it work, but now without a cap initiated, now they have to reset again, and with only under 6 minutes left on the clock, I'll be honest with you, I think that Muku just got MVP.
Muku the God! He stops them single-handedly, and Aura absolutely regrets not getting that take on the Rift earlier. Why did they wait, Blue? Were they that confident? That in this case, it is now overconfidence because Muku single-handedly, the God hand of Unity, grabs them by the neck and yoinks them over to the side and says, not my Rift. Not today, because this is 5 minutes left on this match, and I will take this fight away from you with these very hands, with the unity of our friendship and anime and God, whatever else you may believe in, that gave him the RNG to get the resistance off of the side of Aura. It was intense, Blue. I can't believe Aura actually let it go for that long without the take. Why were they so confident?
Dude, I said he was an alpha. He doesn't watch anime. He's a Giga Chad. Okay. Now over here, we see on this side, here's Aura coming in for another engage on both sides right now. Huge flank coming in. They do manage to get through the choke right now. You see Jappa in the middle of everyone, consistently one of their top TPS for Hand of Unity. Oh my goodness, gets nuked down by Cretin right in front of him right there, and that fight is going pretty well for Aura, but look at that kill feed is still pretty red. Clowns picks up a couple kills as well, but under 5 minutes left to go. I think that Hand of Unity has done this, barring an act of God. I don't think that they've got enough time to bring this back the other way. Hand of Unity outmaneuvering the defending champions in T1, coming back to take their crown again. Aura, very confident. They said it was going to be a 2-0. They said they were going home early. No problems at all. Zachriel, what is happening with your boys and girls in that guild right now? Aura getting desperate under the 4-minute marker. They're going to try to interact with it again. It's Relum this time that interacts or that stops it. Don't forget that Jappa and Muku were the absolute goats that were able to keep this going for Hand of Unity. This match could look so much different if they didn't dive down and be selfless the way they did. Jappa died for that attempt right there, but he interrupted it just enough time to get Muku to the point, and Muku then almost died, but he was able to carry it until the rest of the guild arrived. And now Hand of Unity said that we will do the rest. Thank you, my goats. We will handle the rest. And I'm telling you right now, Aura can't even interact with the stone, LF.
Oh my god, the exact main blue, when you ask them to call for whatever god what god can you turn to when the hand of God itself takes you away from that rift? At that point, it is just fate. It is just destiny. There's absolutely nothing you can do because God himself gave you the opportunity and you wasted it that time when you had full control of the rift, when you could have forced them to get on the rift and get clumped up for you for free. Instead, you waited in a false sense of security, in a false sense of confidence where you had no chance after that because, again, whatever god you worship is on the side of Hand and Unity at the very least for this rift fight, and they proved it in this take zone. They are not able to take it. Goblin King 70% right there, pushed off to the side again by the god himself, Muku, and then he just denies him over and over and over, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on this clock, it is looking very, very grim for Aura. Muku absorbing all of that aura himself and showing out with the rest of the Xin that won the T1 tournament and really proving that he himself is the difference maker in this fight. Denies another take again, denies yet another take again on the side of Hand of Unity. They are unstoppable, Blue. Unfortunately for the side of Aura, they are the stoppable side. They are not the unstoppable force because that force belongs to Hand of Unity on Team Red that you're seeing here. Deny after deny. There is absolutely nothing Aura can do in this match because Hand of Unity is taking it with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. It is not even looking grim, Blue. It is looking impossible for the side of Aura.
I will be honest. I don't think that Aura was prepared to lose the first match. I don't think that they have a plan. I think that they were comfy going to go up 1-0. Maybe they narrowly lose the second match, but you heard the man. He thought it was going to be 2-0. He was quite confident that they were going to be going home early today. That is not what we are going to see. Hand of Unity came out, and it looked like Aura, to be clear, it did look like that Aura had the better strategy early on. We saw Hand of Unity a little disjointed. They come at it from Portal 3. That didn't work. They came back to the lower spawns. They attacked from both sides. They eventually get their one wipe, and they just said, you know what? Both of us have this cap right now. We'll go ahead. We will take the gamble. We'll take control of the stone, and we will just keep you from capping for the rest of time. Mainly because, again, we've talked about this before, LF. You run a mighty gambit when you are basically saying, yeah, under 7 minutes, we'll be able to cap it. It'll be fine. And they couldn't get the initiate off. It was just 1 or 2 men standing in the way of victory right there for Aura, because I tell you right now, the match looks super different if they're able to initiate a cap there, get 30 or 40%. They have more people on the point right now than Hand of Unity does. They would be pulling ahead on the percentage right now. They would have probably reverse capped this no problem with 7 minutes left to go. But sadly, not able to get that initiate meant that they had to reset the entire time. Yeah, 8 seconds left. It is going to be Hand of Unity coming up with the first round of this one. We have an upset brewing on our hands here in the audience. I crashed with 51 kills in this lobby. Ivan Paliklo coming in at 50 and 47. Dusk with all the kills in the world, but not a win to be seen. 38 kills for Kimseer and Clowns right there. Maybe 38 of these losses could fit in your mouth, Clowns. At the end, I'm just gonna keep riding. I'm gonna ride that guy like a horse. It is what it is. Cried from Hand of Unity at 40 kills there. Very back and forth. It looks like the assists, 96 assists for Kimseer right there. Looks like the top 4 on the side of Hand of Unity is React. Right there, damage dealt. Look at this. I crashed again. Buddha Penza at the top. Havoc, Kimseer. Look how back and forth this was. And yet, Hand of Unity did not let them even interact with the stone for 13 straight minutes on this one. Damage taken, 2.2 million for Roulette. The top tank of the lobby on a Scorpion is crazy. He's getting focused down like insanity. Complex, the first Templar on the board right there. But it looks like Kimseer, Key, and Clowns, the top focuses of the lobby so far. They're really trying to shut down those players. 2.4 million damage shield for Ichi Biyuyu, Dark Ronin 21, Kukilu, Skull, and Explosion is art for Hand of Unity. And look at that. This is why Hand of Unity won. Look at that. All in a close match. All of their healers are on top. Night, Timeless, Mr. Yem. I gotta say, the Aura healers coming up slacking. Every other leaderboard is very close. The healing leaderboard, it's all Hand of Unity for the most part on top of Dusk. The top 5 are completely closed out of this one. Zacharyl down here at 1.7. God bless his heart. But I think it's time to go back to the drawing board. Now you need to assess what map you need to look at, because that was really close, but not the expected outcome, LF.
Yeah, exactly. Blue, I should have shot call from the beach if that was the strat. I forgive me forever doubting the strat right there and the energy that comes from shot calling from the beach, but it looks like it is definitely the winning formula, if you will, because that was one hell of a match. I was on the edge of my seat. Actually, I was standing on my seat in that match. It was so intense. I was not expecting, with how close that was and how it ended and how oppressive it was on the side of Hand of Unity to just deny every single attempt on the side of Aura there. You kind of wonder, were they feigning weakness at the very start there, especially knowing now that the whole time Muku could actually do this by himself solo?
I don't think so. Let's take a look at this instant replay. This is one of the engagements that we saw on the side of Aura here. They're coming in. You can see very disjointed on the side of Hand of Unity. You can see both choke points engaged right there. As they push through, they get a really solid engagement off. They're trying to skirmish, but they just can't get this win out of the bag. They kill a fair amount of Hand of Unity, and they did this like 6 or 7 times in this match, but sadly it took them 3 minutes per engagement to get ready set. That is way too long. In terms of tempo as a shot caller, you got to be able to organize your guild faster than that, LF. You can't be 3 minutes between pushes every time. Like, you can't be sitting in your hug box for 3 minutes at a time trying to get everybody ready to go. People have got to get in position and ready set. Aura has got to get their stuff together in this next match here, because I think that depending on what the next match is, honestly, let's talk about the next map a little bit. What do you do since Aura gets to pick the next map? They lost the first round. What do you go to in this second map? I know what I would do, but I want to see what LF says.
Oh man, well, it's looking from how this game played out, right? Like we saw in the initial engage that you just replayed, Blue. We saw a lot of kills come from the side of Aura initially, but it's just that some way, somehow, Hand of Unity just has more control on the point. And if I were on the side of Hand of Unity here, I would definitely pick something with a lot of high ground, seeing especially as I have the supreme collision on my side, just from one person alone being able to deny a whole guild from getting onto that rift. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest with you. I do have a blue tie on. It's golden blue. And the rest of my outfit is blue. What do you want the whole thing to be blue? I didn't want to be monochromatic. What do you want me to do? Okay, I was right. I just want to say, I didn't get to say it first, but I would have gone to a T2 map here. You got to hit your opponent where they don't see you coming on something that you've prepped ahead of time. Like, that high ground is not necessarily a bad idea, but I think that you need a stone that you can try to get in position on early and try to dominate. We're going to Leviathan, LF.
Oh no! With such supreme point control as Hand of Unity had
Exactly
there.
what I would have done. Yep. That's exactly what I would have done. Yes. No, I'm saying I think that no. I think that Aura had better point control overall. You could see them dominating. I think that they outthought themselves in the previous match. I think that they had it in the bag. If they had just capped early on, they probably would have been okay. But they overthought it. They said, we need to hand this cap to Hand of Unity. And then they just got too disjointed toward the end. They couldn't get full control. And even when they did have full control of the point, they couldn't interact with it. I think that Leviathan favors them here because they were able to get on top early on the Azrael Riftstone. Presumably, they could get on top of the Leviathan Riftstone too. If they do get on top of this cap, it's very easy to control Leviathan in this way. And I think that they can stay on top consistently for the entire time. They don't have to worry about a reverse cap necessarily on Leviathan. Well, it's not as much of a threat as it is on something like Talus.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. And seeing as damage and AoE specifically on the side of Aura here, I can definitely see it. Leviathan, Riftstone definitely forcing a lot of plumping on the side of either guild there. And if Aura is able to take advantage of that with the damage that they do have versus the pulling power on the side of Hand of Unity here, they could definitely get the jump on HOU here and get the win and make this a 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people are talking about Outlaw in the chat. Outlaw 31. Everybody has a 31 in their name on the side of Aura here. Mainly because, again, they're trying to get you to say it so they can say 31 of these nuts in your mouth. Every time. They're going to do it. Every single time. Classic PvPers. It is what it is. Now, that being said, Aura, we have to discuss this for a moment. Aura won the Best in Guild T1 tournament. Now they're down 0-1. They have never lost a match. Okay, they have never lost a match. The only guild they ever went down to, they lost one round on Disaster in the Best in Guild T1 on Grand Alon, which is why I said Grand Alon's is one of Disaster's best maps. Okay, but aside from that, they did not lose the entire tournament. They have not lost in this tournament at all so far. It's been a bulldoze. This is the first time they've been on the back foot at all. They are one round away from losing the prize pool altogether, from losing this T2 tournament. Keep in mind, guys, this is the largest prize pool that any players have ever played for in Throne and Liberty history worldwide. Okay, so the pressure is immense, and you go down 0-1 as the defending champions. People are making fun of you. Your guild is demoralized. Their head's in a bad spot here, LF.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, we can't really quite count them out because you talked about it before, Blue. The morale advantage of winning this. If Aura manages to win this and kind of like secure the confidence back that hey, we do have what it takes. We do have control. We have the majority of control in any of these rifts, and we won't let them get so lucky again. We won't let them have the same amount of control again, and we will not let go of any amount of control again. And they take the fight. We're gonna have ourselves a banger of a series, Blue, because either guild now can taste victory.
Yeah, absolutely. People wondering what how the prize pool is distributed. It's 6,000 Lucent to every single member of the winning guild in the tournament. The second place guild gets half that. It's 3K to everybody in the second place guild. So playing for a lot here, but a lot of chat said it best. Normally in tournaments like this, nobody cares as much about the money. Yeah, the Lucent is really cool. It makes it super hype. It gets people to engage with the tournament. But let's be honest, when you get this far into the tournament, it ain't about the Lucent. It's about the title. It's about that ego. It's about you get to say that you are the best. You get to say that you are the best in Europe, which is a crazy title, considering it is the most competitive region, in my opinion. In terms of the number of players in the region, it's not even a question. EU has the most players on the server, and now you're talking about the top two guilds here. Absolutely insane. It looks like we're almost ready for this match. I'm going to take a look at compositions here again. Looks close to the same here. I think both guilds are pretty comfortable going back into the same comfort picks they had before.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a lot of changes here from what we're seeing. Still some. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Six. What did Aura always have six? Always have 6 crossbows? I thought they had like around 3 or 5. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but looks like for the most part though, right about the same amount of distribution here. Maybe 20 SNSs now on the side of HOU versus 19. If that is indeed the case, it looks like HOU might play the collision gameplay here on the side of Leviathan here. That might be what they're trying to do, fully knowing that they don't have quite the control over like damage versus aura. So it looks like they're not trying to fight fire with fire, and they're trying to fight it with their own concoction here, from what it seems.
Yeah, Leviathan is a crazy stone pick, but again, I agree with it. I think that Aura can control the stone. We might see this go back the other way. Hand of Unity showed a lot of dominance in that last match. Aura, early on, they had the strategy. They had prepped the map. They were ready to go. They had all of their statics in various positions, and they looked super dominant at the start of the match. It looked like they were going to come home with it, and then Hand of Unity just reverse swept them, took out the entire stone, didn't even let them interact with it for almost 13 minutes at the end of time. So I think that Aura's going to just take a breath. They're going to come back to this one. They're looking at Leviathan, and they're saying, we just need to execute the same way we did last time, but don't get cocky, LF.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely do not get cocky again. It is not over until a winner has been decided, until that clock ticks 0, and definitely until you are 2 versus the other team in terms of victory. So no shot, no opportunity to be comfortable here, no opportunity to be undisciplined here, because we saw it already on the side of Aura. A moment's carelessness could cost you the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like both guilds are ready, so that we're going to tell them to buff up here. Honestly, how much do you prioritize getting in position first on this Riftstone? Because I'll be real, I think that is like the most important thing in this Rift, is to try to get in position first.
Absolutely. So it's like, there's 2 sides of this whole thing. Actually, no, 3. You could technically go on the stair side. You don't want to be there either, because that's a dangerous choke point. You don't want to be the one flying down either, because like while you're flying down, you have negative resistances for the most part. Or if you have like high resistances, you'll be very, very low, and you'll be CCable anyway. You don't want that either. And your other option is to swim all the way to the back, hook up, or your last option is to fly over from the front side of the ship to fly over. Again, you're flying again, you're more susceptible to CC again, so none of it is a good option. So on the side here of HOU, seeing as they have an abundance of tanks, an abundance of SNSs here, they definitely want to take on the Rift, in which case they have to spawn Portal 3, and they have to get there immediately, because otherwise your only other option is spawn Portal 1, get the flyby towards the cliff side of the Riftstone. You don't want that either, because then you'll have to fly down to the Rift, and they will definitely beat you there if you don't spawn Portal 3. So what we might see here, if both teams are thinking the same thing, they might very likely all spawn at Portal number 3, and it's going to be
It's going to be a bloodbath. Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. Yeah. We got Spit in the audience, still salty that he got kicked from Aura with the rest of his static because they were complete dog water at the game. And he's in chat saying, can Hand of Unity play with 35 players to make it competitive? Honestly, yeah. I mean, you expect the chat PvP. You can't spell terrible without Spid at the end of the day. I love you, buddy. It does look like we told them to buff. We're going to hit go on this one. We are on Leviathan. Could you, Bart, chill out, bro? You need to relax, homie. We're just gonna chill you out for a second right there. You need to take a breath, homie. Maybe walk outside, take a breather. The rest of us are gonna sit here and watch this amazing map. On this one, Leviathan is the choice, and this is cinema as we pan across. This could be the final match of EU's Best in Guild T2. Both guilds already slamming in to one each other. Aura desperately trying to get their backs to the wall, trying to get up the stairs. They're getting pulled back down on the side of Hand of Unity. They don't want them to get up the stairs. Everyone's pulling each other and pushing each other back down the stairs. It is Hand of Unity that manages to get up those stairs first, and it's Aura clumped up on the low ground, but it's Budapensa coming up with a lot of kills here. It looks like it's going to be Aura that's able, and oh no, it does look like that again. Hand of Unity at the top of the stairs, but can they keep Aura from getting up these stairs? I'm not sure, because they're all clumped up on this low ground, LF.
Exactly, and it's exactly as we predicted. Everybody spawned Portal 3 because it is the quickest run back or run towards the rift here, and they all were just, it was basically a stampede. Blue, this is like Walmart on a Black Friday with I know our EU guys might not understand that, or maybe they might, because it's been so disastrous that it's become international news, and people are just pulling each other back, holding each other back, and just throwing them back while they're trying to get to the 90% sale on the rift right now, because a win is at stake.
Walmart? This is EU. These people are slim, they are fit, they are educated, and they love freedom of speech, is what I've heard, especially in the UK. Big fans. It does look like that Hand of Unity did get control of the Riftstone toward the top right now. So they do control the boat, and that is not a good thing for Aura. Aura conceding low ground control on this one. They are doing their best, but the rest of Aura probably grouping up on the high ground, I had to guess. Yeah, on this other side. You can see the rest of Aura over on this other side right now doing what they can. But I'll be honest with you, Hand of Unity on top again with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. You see Aura struggling. They don't want to push up those stairs yet until they fly across here. They're going to get reinforcements from the high ground. If you want to watch the stairs for us so that I can watch the high ground, that would be fantastic. There we go. We're going to watch both sides of this one. You see Altsy trying to hide from line of sight. He does not want to show himself. He knows he's the focus of the enemy guild. One of the top DPSs on this side. He is one of the corny crossbows here. So you can see him standing out of line of sight. He might fly in just a little bit after everybody else does, just to make sure he doesn't get focused on this one. All of Hand of Unity, for the most part, grouped up on the boat. This is going to be quite the push across when we do see this go. 2 minutes left on the clock. Things are getting very, very tense. You look at Hand of Unity all boxed up on this right side. Basically, they know that their opponents basically have to land on the Riftstone on the left side, so they're all grouped up on the right side. Some of them own the high ground here. They don't want to allow them to swim up from the high ground or from the low ground. Numi gonna get sniped off on the low ground right there. Look at Slam
pushing up,
doing his job. Oh, there they come up the stairs right there. There's the trigger pull from the high ground. They're gonna fly down to help meet them. KW lands on the high ground over on that left side. I'm not sure Hand of Unity was quite ready for that landing spot right there as they get pincered from both sides of this engagement right now. It does look pretty good on the side of Aura. Can they get control of the boat? A beautifully executed engagement right there to get their front line up the stairs so that they're in their DPS across that threshold. With a minute left to go, I'm seeing a lot more yellow health bars on this ship here, LF.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. More yellow health bars. And you know why how they did it, Blue? They were very, very calculated before they did this push. If you looked at the kill feed there, it was mostly yellow on red. A lot of kills going on the way in favor of Aura there right before they made their engage. And as soon as they made their engage with a numbers advantage, they were able to take the rift side here. And now they're fighting for the high ground on the backside of the ship. This is one of the focal points of the game. Unfortunately, my game ended up crashing here, but I can still look at the stream and call for it. And again, one of the win conditions on the side of Hand of Unity here, or Aura, is to take control of the backside of this rift. And if they take control of the backside of this rift, that means that on their side that they are able to kind of like rain down on the people that are kind of like trying to take on the rift, which is exactly what Hand of Unity is trying to do. They're trying to on that spot, and unfortunately for them, on the side of Aura, they get staved off. And again, collision wins over damage.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You look at the leaderboards right now, I think it is very back and forth once again, but you can consistently see, look at the Hand of Unity healers jumping out in front once again of their counterparts right here. And certainly they control the boat right now. They very impressively were able to wipe Aura off the boat after such an impressive push by Aura right there. Got wiped off again. Hand of Unity just out skirmishes them pound for pound with better static groups and play. That's what we saw ultimately happen on Azrael too. Their players are just a little bit better on this side. Aura gonna go for another two-pronged engagement right now as they start to move up the stairs just a little bit right now. Ooh, pull a lot of people off the stairs. They're good on Dicey right there to pull a lot of people off the stairs. That's gonna kill a lot of people on the low ground as they try to wrap around. There's the fly down to the low ground once again. Hand of Unity positioned on the high ground. There's the alt-C going for a big spin on the left side of your screen on this high ground over here. And then again on the low ground, it looks like the yellow health bars are starting to win out as Aura skirmishes for their life in this tournament. 36% in climbing for a Hand of Unity as they try to pull back to the stone, but the kill feed looks more and more yellow right now, and it looks like they are just barely going to have control of this boat. Dicey desperately interacting with the stone right now. Is he going to get interrupted? He does get interrupted again on this one. Aura trying to stay on top to at least keep their percentage under control as they're fighting for life on this stone. 25 to 23. They are just getting out skirmished slowly but surely by this Aura squad. Interestingly enough, shot calling on a Motorola Razr in the middle of nowhere is apparently good enough for Aura to make this happen right now, because that guy's an absolute Giga Chad. Did you manage to make it back into the game?
Yep, absolutely. I am back in the game right now, and if you look at my screen right now, you'll see something really, really special. If you can pull it up on the main screen here, and again, we're seeing on the side there, we see an ad of the tournament there. You can see Blue Squadron Open Tournament, definitely WAGS. And again, 23, 25 on the side of Hand of Unity here, and they are again being absolutely dominant on this rift right now. Collision and objective based gameplay winning over damage in terms of strategy here. And again, this is on the side because of the fact that they're able to decrease the numbers a lot more on the side of Aura, which means that more of the Aura members are now more vulnerable, and so that means that they have more kill potential on those members while having less kill potential on their side, which is what is giving Hand of Unity right now the onus when it comes to taking this rift. And right now, Aura just struggling to even get up on this thing, because again, this is a tiny choke point, and a tiny choke point is a SNS user's wet dream.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Outlaw in this low ground. Certainly a lot of fans in the chat, but he's getting pushed and pulled around right now. Oh my God, that's how good of a player. Yeah, that's crazy. He's in the middle of everything. He did what he could. He was one of the last players left alive. Gets absolutely blasted the moment that I lock onto him. Caster curse right there. You hate to see that. You see Crimson on the high ground. I'm actually starting to get a little bit pressed for Aura right now. I think that they have tried and tried again to get control of this stone, and they are struggling. Another push going to come in for Aura right now. Zachriel gonna land on the stone and try to heal, keep alt-C healed up right there. Mowgli goes for a spin as well. They do manage to get some spinners off right now. They're gonna keep that percentage from getting too high. A lot of yellow health bars on the stairs right now. Big wipe on the side of Hand of Unity. They are basically all dead at the moment, and there's a lot of yellow health bars, but honestly, the red health bars are just managing to barely hold on with 14 people. The rest of their guild is running back to this fight. 16 people standing on the point. Steven, interestingly enough, is choosing not to help his guild, but rather stand on the high ground and run around like he's on union break. That's an interesting choice for a healer right there. We'll see how it works out for him. 15 people over 6 right now. Aura takes the first control of this Riftstone. Crimson gonna go for it. Is he gonna get this interact right now? Groose, oh my gosh, interrupts him again. This is such an important moment. It's Azrael all over again. Crimson needs this. It's just Groose all by himself. They need to get him away from Crimson. They interrupt him again. Crimson gets interrupted. Aura, you have to get control of this stone. They keep getting interrupted. The front line for Hand of Unity is absolutely goated. Unbelievable. One man against the entirety of Aura. Maybe Spid was right. What in the holy heck is going on? All Aura needed to do was turn around and kill one guy. They had full control of the stone. What are you all doing, you morons? I can't believe it. Like, what is happening right now? Everyone was standing there running around. No one wants to focus the tank, but at that moment, you need to kill the tank that's interrupting your tank, and they just couldn't get the job done. One guy keeps Aura from interacting with this stone. Finally, they get the interact on the stone now, but again, we're at 80%. Hand of Unity has all day to flip this stone all day long. Aura struggling for life to try to keep control of this one, constantly contested by the Hand of Unity members. They finally start to get control of this one. They're climbing now. They're at 25%. It's starting to look at least a little bit better for them. Their front line certainly needing a little bit of help.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see on the side of Hand of Unity here, they're trying to push up right now, but Aura kind of like letting them have a taste of their own medicine here, kind of only investing a few people on the choke point to stop about 3 groups of Hand of Unity trying to push up here. And now Hand of Unity, they have to go on to Portal 1 at this point and at least get a bit of like a flank here for Aura by flying down from the cliffside in order to allow their members at Portal number 3 to push up on the point, and so they can get a bit of take here. But still, they have some leeway here. They have some room to work with. 37% on the side of Aura, 69% on the side of Hand of Unity. They still have a lot of opportunity to take this back right now, but 15 on the side of Hand of Unity, 27 on the side of Aura. It's looking a little bit grim for them, but Aura finding their bearings here. Yeah, the last match.
Finally finding their footing in this matchup right now as they're climbing over 48%. They're starting to be able to breathe a little bit. I think that if that had gone on any longer, I think Hand of Unity probably comes up with this match. If they get that cap off, it is almost certain doom. You never see reverse caps on Leviathan like this. Now look at the percentage though. They just weren't able to come up with it. That's how narrow the margin actually is. And I'll tell you, once again, it comes down to the front line in both guilds. Hand of Unity's front line is executing when they need to. The front line of Aura is really struggling because they don't have the support of the rest of their guilds. They get complete control of the Riftstone and they still can't get a cap off because one guy is allowed to prevent that from happening. That should never be allowed to happen. We've seen it not once, but twice now in both matches. We've seen the guild not support their front line. Aura, though, in control of this match, but so barely. Hand of Unity now back on the point. They're going to push this back the other way. It is neck and neck. 60% to 60% now on the leaderboards as it looks like it's a nail biter, but it's Aura creeping their way out in front of this one, clawing with their fingernails back into this match like Anakin on the slopes right now, just screaming on the side of that mountain, and they come up with it. A huge wipe on their side, and they will pull away. Hand of Unity starts to fold on this push here. They're trying to regroup. They're trying to get back in on this one, but 24 people on the point for Aura means that I think that they're going to take this one all the way home, LF.
Yeah. Exactly, and I have really, honestly, Blue, I've been paying attention to Pot War here on my screen. Credit to Pot War and his party. This 6-man flex team right here has been stopping 2, 3, sometimes even 4 parties of the side of Hand of Unity here, and I'm not sure why Hand of Unity is falling for this, but honestly, 6 people can't possibly stop that many people if you don't let him, and that is exactly the numbers advantage that they had on the Rift. If you are down 18 people versus 6 on the Rift side, the problem is that the 12 people that you're lacking is 12 cooldowns that are not eliminating the people on the Rift on the side of Aura, and you're wasting it now, and that's exactly why they have been able to get this advantage. And now 94% on the side of Aura, they are going to lose this, Blue. 25-7. This is a double tick
97.
Up to 100, and here we go, Blue.
99. Do I see it? Aura going to shut the door on that camp. Unbelievable cinema in EU today to fight for the grand finals right now. Absolutely everything that we wanted. 10 minutes left on the board. Hand of Unity needs to back up and regroup now to try to get their bearings in this match. Aura controls the stone. We have never seen a reverse cap on Leviathan in the tournament worldwide. In none of the 3 tournaments have we ever seen this. But now Hand of Unity must do the impossible. If they want to climb this mountain, if they want to beat the defending champions, they have got to try to make this work. work. They're going to send 2 contingencies. They've got a lot of people on the low ground. It looks like they're splitting up. They're going to send some people probably over to this high ground, or maybe up on the boat, up on this left side, up where this Koro is. There's Muku, the absolute GOAT, the MVP of the last match, making it happen right now. But again, all Aura needs to do is stand on this boat, control these choke points, control the high grounds, and they will win. Honestly, I'd love to see their DPS get in a high ground position on either side of the boat. You can see this static over here, basically preventing people from swimming in the water, guys. You can swim in the water, especially if you have a shark morph. You can swim in the water, come up the backside of the boat here. That's the static is in position to handle that exact flank right there. You see Kami on this high ground right now, on this Cordy crossbow. It looks like that's the flank that's going to come through. They're going to pull the trigger and go from the low ground. The same push it looks like Aura executed with less flankers. They're just going to come straight up the stairs. Ulti's going to have a field day. Amoglu's going to have a field day. But it's Jaffa that gets the kill feed on the side of Hand of Unity. They do manage to make it up the stairs. Where are the Cordy spinners right now? On the side of Hand of Unity right there. Oh my god, there's the kill feed come through. That's what we're looking for Aura. The control of the cap. Aura with the poise to come up with that one. The engagement did not go their way at the start. They let them straight up the stairs. They held their cooldowns until the opportune moment. And look at that kill feed now, LF.
Kami right now holding Q, trying to play flip, gets pulled off though, unfortunately. But we see a red feed here on the side of Hand of Unity. They were forced to pull the trigger on that one because a lot of their groups were being held by the same party with Port War by portal number 3, and they just could not afford that delay any longer. And Kami, unfortunately, on the way up, gets exploded, and he cannot make any impact here at a very crucial time for Hand of Unity. This is the time when you need Kami. This is the time when you need Calyx to be able to get these frags, get this take on the Rift here, as they are able to fight for another 7 minutes and 30 seconds. If they are not able to take it here soon, it's going to be really dangerous on the side of Hand of Unity here. They're running out of time. Usually we say, Blue, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, it's usually enough, but in a close fight like this, in such dominance right now that Aura has shown, 7 minutes just might not be enough at all.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This is absolute cinema. NEU Amoglu goes for the spin, gets pulled out immediately. Guess who pulled him? It's Muku again. The absolute GOAT, interrupting the Cordy spinners. That must be what happened to the Cordy spinners originally on the last push as well. Is the front line for Hand of Unity is absolutely carrying them. Unbelievable. Interrupting the Cordy spinners, getting the caps off, interacting the caps where they need to. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. We're under 7 minutes in this match. We look like we might be going all the way to the best of 3, all the way to the 3rd place match here. If Hand of Unity can't get control of this, Raid's gonna go for the interact on the point. Can we see them interrupt them? Yes, they do. Finally, the front line from Aura able to show that they are just as good. Raid's gonna go down now. The spell blades taking him down as well. And they're all gonna dive in right now. They're trying to get forward to interact with that stone. Hand of Unity really struggling to get through right now, and it looks like Kami gets 1 kill on the spin, but not quite enough. Amoglu standing in the corner over here, waiting for his opportunity to spin, but basically Aura barely holding control. Ahuni right there pushing off Ready to try to keep him off the point. Ready gonna run right back, gonna interact with it again. Goblin King gonna pull him back off again. Beautiful play for Aura right now. They know every single minute matters. Every single second matters on the clock. Every time they can interrupt a cap, it's so important. They are barely on top of this one. They are flirting with losing control of this stone right now. Amoglu goes for a spin. He's gonna get wiped out though, as Kia kills him on the low ground right there, but there's no one. There's Muku gonna step forward. They're gonna try to interact with the point right now, but he gets interrupted right away. And you see them, they are locked in on him right now. They just need to keep him from interacting with the stone. You see more and more red health bars making their way onto the ship right now. Muku's gonna go down. Again, the DPS hard focus on making sure that those tanks cannot interrupt with the stone. Finally, Aura flipping the switch, turning their front line really turning the corner right now, LF.
Muku gets me stuck on the stone here. Muku there with the collision chance, but not quite the collision resist needed to be able to take this right now, as Amoglu on the side of Aura waiting by the wings, waiting for them to do another push, or maybe even just spinning on this back line here at the back of the ship. and gets a bunch of kills for his team and himself, and they take full control of this again, as this was one of the focal points of the engage here from the side of Hand of Unity. They needed the space here. They even invested Kami onto here that falls right just about now, and they get full control of the rift like here, thanks to the engage and thanks to that play made by Alti and Moglu.
You know, as much as people are trying to glaze, as much as people are trying to glaze him over there, he does not have a shark morph equipped, and that was super embarrassing. You need to lock in. You're the best of EU. You're on Leviathan. You need to have a shark morph equipped. That guy pathetically basically jumping through the water on repeat like that, trying to get back to this. Here's another push from Hand of Unity. They're just gonna come straight up the stairs. Unbelievably, that's just gonna get shredded. They're all gonna get pushed off. They're all gonna get AoE down to Mowgli with a big spin right there. Ulti comes in with another spin as well, and they get absolutely decimated. The front line does get through though. Can they interact with the stone? We're under 4 minutes on the clock. I think that Aura has done it, oh so barely, clawing their way back into this series with their fingernails. We didn't think it was going to be possible. It looked so dire for them. In both stones, they have had positions where they're ahead and where they're behind. Leviathan, they were very far behind at the start of this match, having to group up and push again and again and again, and show this is why the best guilds in EU are the best guilds in EU. You have to be able to adapt and overcome. Even the slightest adjustment can mean the difference between winning and losing in a match like this. They made those slight adjustments. They took control of the ship, which is so hard to do on Leviathan, but now they're asserting dominance and control of this point, showing why they chose Leviathan. They can play from behind. They can play from ahead. It's gonna be Aura, I think, coming up with this with only 3 minutes left on the clock. I don't think there's a way that Hand of Unity is gonna take this one back. You have to start looking at what map are you choosing right now on the side of Hand of Unity. They get to choose the next map, but certainly the momentum in favor of Aura here, LF.
The morale advantage, as you said before, Blue, is now solely on the side of Aura. Again, Hand of Unity there had the Hand of God in the previous match, but by God, Aura become the God Slayers in this round of the tournament right now. In second, we have ourselves a series, Blue. If this were any other game, I'd say sound the silver scrapes, because we're going to a game 3.
We are going to the game 3 of this lobby right now. 2 minutes left on the clock, and I'll be honest with you, I think, bro, the game 3, where do you go for the match 3? I think the cinema match 3 might just be Talus. That stone could get absolutely crazy, LF.
El Clasico on Talus would be a sight to see. That is gonna be up to Hand of Unity though, as it looks like they will be having the pick for the next match, as they lost this round of the matchup. So again, Hand of Unity, their own fate in their own hands, going into match number 3, as we are far past the point of no return with 1 minute and 28 seconds left. What is going to be the rift? What is going to be the battleground on the side of Hand of Unity? Are they going for the El Clasico with Talus, or are they actually going to go for something that is to their advantage?
I'll be honest with you. Do you risk all of the Lucent, all the glory, all of the hard work? Again, we're talking about tens of thousands of hours going into running your guild, into grinding all of this gear up. You're talking about a lot of money, time, effort, energy, all by these guilds right now, and it's going to come down. You need to be looking at this map pick is so impactful. And do you put it all on the line? Do you just roll the dice and go for Cherno on this? Or do you try to take something, that would be crazy. Or do you try to take something a little bit more safe like Morokai? We've seen Aura and Hand of Unity both play really well on Morokai. Who thinks that they can think, which guild thinks that they can take that map home? I honestly, in this position, I do not envy leadership in the side of Hand of Unity, because the win or the loss is in their hands. It's up to them. They need to know their guild. What can their guild perform on when they couldn't perform on this map? What could they perform on to make them win right now. The ball is in your court. And I'll be honest with you, Aura, with the momentum, we talk a lot about momentum in best of threes. Aura certainly got that momentum here as they will take match 2. This will not be a shutout. 100 kills for Palico, Wawa, Kim Seer, and Ivan right there coming in big for Aura. Cried, the top killer of the lobby on the side of Hand of Unity on a great sword dagger, no less, very impressive. I crashed down here as well. Havoc and Scythe coming in as the top kills for them as well. The top assists of the lobby are Kim Seer and looks like Knight 31 for Aura, and it looks like on the side of Hand of Unity it's going to be Jappa and Havoc down there. Damage dealt 5.6 million for Kim Seer and Palico. Looks like Wawa, Budapenza, and Scars rounding out the top 5. A lot of spell blades, a lot of spear daggers in there. Hand of Unity, I crashed, Havoc's, Scythe, Jappa, all rounding out the top 4 for Hand of Unity. Who's the 5th player? Cried down there. Looks like damage taken. Another crossbow dagger. Guys, this is damage taken on the current leaderboard is typically who is being focused the hardest. So normally, yeah, we're starting to see Scorpions up here. When these top guilds, they know how to focus people. They're not going to try to hit tanks. You don't see a single Crusader almost on the leaderboard here. You see Night Course all the way down here, but that's a Templar, and he's running Tevent, which means that, again, that's a DPS Templar. Where it's Roulette being focused. Guaxi, Key, Bozen, Cryptos. These are some of the most dangerous people in the lobby right now. Ivan, Cammy, and again, yeah, Night Course. People love him to death. All the top focuses of the lobby right now. The amount healed, 2.4 million for Ichiyu. Billy the Kid, Mr. Yen, Hemji's Skull, Explosion is Art, Knight 31, all the top healers of the lobby. And again, Daigus, Kirshe, Rave, Dark Run, and 21, all receiving honorable mentions. You see Zach. Where's my boy Zach? There's my boy Zach all the way down here. Doesn't have to do much work because his static is just that good. Honestly, what a crazy match we have in Europe today.
Yeah, absolutely crazy match indeed. Before they asked us what the prediction was gonna be, when we asked the other guilds, they were confident with a 2-0. Back in our mind, though, we were thinking 2-1 Blue, because after seeing the matches that both these teams have displayed, the adaptability that they have, you kind of like figure at some point in time that's like, yeah, this is absolutely going to be down to whoever picks the map and whoever allows what map to go through. It as long as like the other side decides to pick the map that is to their advantage and the map that they practice the most, these are going to be, like, again, competitiveness. It's all about a game of inches. Like, it's all about the game seconds. All about a game of 31s, if you will. And the team that edges out the other team by 31 or more is just going to end up the winner.
What is it with you today? You're talking about being master strokers. You're talking about edging out the enemy team. What's going on right now?
I'm pandering to you.
Yeah, okay. Let's take a look at the instant replay from that last match before we talk about this. Oh, whoops. That's not the one. That's the one from the previous match right there. Regardless, let me take a look at this. Let me see if I can't find it. Maybe I didn't actually store it. Nope, I did. Nope. There was no replay from the last match. I didn't store it, so my bad. Regardless, you look ahead to what map you want to choose here. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you just got to throw down the gauntlet. I think that a map like Chernobog, I think you throw it down, man. It takes balls of steel to drop Chernobog in a best of 3 in the 3rd match for all the marbles, for all the Lucent, for all of the Lucent and all the glory at the end of the day. I think you slam down the gauntlet, you go to Cherno, and I think that what you do is you try to feather it, you get within striking distance, just like we saw Hellowing do in NA East. If you've been following that tournament, Hellowing in NA East threw down the gauntlet. It was very close the whole time, neck and neck, and then out of nowhere, Hellowing just popped Guardians, hard wiped the enemy guild, took the stone, and then basically was able to prevent them from even interacting with the stone for minutes at a time on Cherno.
Yep.
I think that you basically get within striking distance around 60% or so, pop all your Guardians and Remedies at an unexpected time, surge onto the point, take control, and then just fight it out for the remainder and just keep that percentage under control. I'd just throw it down. I'll be honest with you, but that's just me. What map are you choosing here?
Actually, I'm right with you on that one, and the reason because it's, I think the big part of why Aura got the advantage there in terms of numbers, in terms of cooldowns on the Rift, is because of the absolutely deadly kill squad on the side of Aura that just had no answer the whole time. They were holding over 2-3 groups of people, 6, 12 people, 18 people at times, and they were just preventing them from going up on the rift. Some way, somehow, they just put in enough pressure. And if you're on a map like Chernobog, they don't really get to do that. The kill squad on there becomes homeless if they have to go up on there by the rift side and be in with the clumps, and they're easier to manage, and they can't really put a stoppage to it because they can't. People are invulnerable until they get to almost to the top part of that rift. So I think that is absolutely the play for Hand of Unity here if they want to play for the win. If they want to make it spicy though, Blue, I don't know. Morokai Talus, El Clasico, always a treat.
We're not getting Morokai, we're not getting Talus, and we are not getting Chernobog. Of all the maps for it to come down to, of all of the different maps that it could possibly be, we are going to Kawazan in this best of 3. The final map to conclude it all. One map to bind, one map to strike to them, and in the darkness bind them. Unbelievable. I cannot believe it will be Kawazan in the best of 3. Cue the silver scrapes. Here we go. The guilds are filling the lobby. I'll be honest, Kawa is a super back and forth Riftstone, guys. For those of you that don't know, there's an inner room. That's where the Riftstone is. There's like 4 different ways to get into the Riftstone room, but they're all narrow choke points. There's a lot of spawn camping that can go on. There's outer rooms to the inner room. There's a lot of inner compartments and compartmentalizations. There's flanking that can go on. Balls of steel to pick Kawazan here.
Man, you better come in with a game plan for a map like Kawazan, especially with how hard it is to push into sometimes. If the other guild has absolute control, and as we've seen, it has happened in this series of these choke points, it's going to be damn near impossible to cross that, because it's not just like a flight of stairs like you would have in Leviathan, right? There's not like a fly down to any of this at all. It is absolute just long choke points on either side, and that is the only way you can get into this map or into this Riftstone. So pick very carefully, and they decide to pick Kawazan. Hand of Unity must have a plan here. I was not expecting this map to be the final map for the finals of EU.
And the craziest thing here, I don't think that Aura expected this either. I think that in terms of my choices for what I think the map could have been, I was not. This is again, guys, to talk about the bans a little bit. Azrael and Leviathan are out. They can't be picked again. Pakalo, Manticus, Talus, and Chernobog were the bans. And again, I said Cherno would be what I would throw down. With Cherno out of the equation, they literally go to Kawazan. There is very little chance that Aura has prepped Kawazan, which means Hand of Unity very likely has prepped this map. They have a lot of experience on this map, having played on it in the past in previous tournaments as well. I know that they probably have something prepared here. And again, that could be the edge. And again, you got to have some balls of steel to pick a map like Kawazan, where point control is super important. Aura has demonstrated brilliant point control in both maps so far. But like, again, came up short on Azrael. Hand of Unity, though, they know that they can trickle onto this point. If they can get this to be a trickle spawn kind of match, I think they might be able to make this work here.
Yeah, all they have to do right now is just make sure that none of their statics get stuck outside by the kill squads ever again. With the runbacks being a lot less dangerous, or a lot less shorter than Leviathan per se, and a lot less vulnerability when it comes to like kill squads and everything. But man, Kawazan, we know that that TNL for the most part is very micro-centric when it comes to these GVGs. But Kawazan is that like specific map that like, usually when it comes to a shot callers matter, but in Kawazan, shot caller is the be all end all of this map. If you lose this one, you will look to your shot caller. If you win this one, you will be patting your shot caller on the back, because they are absolutely the reason why you win or lose this map with teams this close.
Dude, I am on 3 hours of sleep. Okay. And I have not drank any caffeine. I have 0 caffeine. I'm on 3 hours of sleep. I am tweaking right now. I'm shifting. I'm uncomfortable in my chair. I am like, oh God, I get no caffeine. The anticipation is killing me. Guys, this is over 21 days of competition. Thousands of hours grinded. Tens of thousands of hours for both guilds put together, and dollars spent. I don't even want to know. All to bring it down to Kawazan is making me uncomfortable. It looks like both guilds are 48 over 48. You take a look at their composition. I'm seeing a lot of Del Nizoa's on this side of Hand of Unity over here. The Del Nizoa Spear, their choice, but I'm seeing a few on the other side as well here, LF.
Yeah, exactly. Deluz Noah, definitely the bane of Aura's existence when it comes to these takes sometimes, because not just because of Muku, but also the rest of their squad, right? So it's very obvious that Hand of Unity is coming into this with a gameplay. And speaking of no sleep blue, I myself, I was actually in the middle of a subathon before this, and I haven't slept either. So me and you in the same position right now, and they're putting us through this. It better be one hell of a match.
Homie, I messaged you for like an hour and a half today to try to get your attention before the map, and you weren't sleeping. You were just ghosting me. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. This dude gave me a heart attack today. I thought he wasn't gonna show up, bro. That's insane.
Oh, I was online.
That's evidently. On this one, it looks like we told both lobbies to buff. Guys, chat. Who is ready to crown the kings of EU? It will be Kawazan as the final match. It is 1-1. Every map has been neck and neck, decided by potentially individual players. We are spawning in to Kawa on this one. Unbelievable map choice. I couldn't have chosen it better myself. It looks like both guilds have chosen to spawn in on top of each other. Hand of Unity going left. It looks like Aura going right, pressing through the main hallway, trying to get through right now. A lot of yellow in the kill feed, but they're going to be able to spawn and run right back. I'm not certain that matters too much. They're going to get eaten alive. What really matters is who is getting into the Riftstone room first. And we do see Hand of Unity making it through. You see them on the other side. Havoc already putting down damage through those bars right there. You can pull people into those bars. KW trying to absorb damage for his guild, trying to let them get through into the Riftstone room. But again, Hand of Unity doing a great job of claiming the stone initially first here left.
Exactly. The problem with them going here first, though, on the side of Hand of Unity here, is they get to the Rift Zone. There's absolutely no one there. There's no Rift to take either, so they kind of just like leave their members on the corridor here by Grill side, by Portal 1, and then their members are left to kind of fend for themselves a little bit here. In the meantime, Aura comes in with Zakrill's group, which means that is the Cordy group coming in from the backside here, and they finally get some damage down on this side. And I mean, it's just kind of like it kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit here, seeing as like now Aura kind of controls this corridor, which means that they're gonna be able to do what they did before on Leviathan, even if it means it's to a smaller degree, where they can stop people from coming in once their invulnerability wears out here. If you can see right now, there's a group again, Clown's group here again on the side of Portal 1, blocking people from getting in, and then that's how Aura usually slowly but surely gets control of the rift.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at, I don't know who's necessarily winning. I think Aura is slightly favored. Note now Hand of Unity rallying back to this as they get a few more people onto the stone. For those of you that don't know, there's multiple ways you can regroup to this stone right now. There's a backdoor entrance. You can fly in from the window. You can come in from this corridor. You can come in from that corridor. You can come from the main corridor. But everything ultimately comes to a head in this room right here. And I'll be honest with you, both guilds are close enough. I don't think either guild is going to be able to lock this down consistently the entire time. It's going to come down to who can control this main hallway. You do see Aura designating a static to trying to interrupt those regroups out in that forward hallway out there that LF was just trying to show you over there. Arhead makes his way into this hallway right now. One of the top DPS on the side of Aura as they come in here. Hand of Unity certainly skirmishing very well. I think the front line is going to make it's going to be a very big deal on a map like this. And if the front line shows up for Hand of Unity, they might just have this.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, Aura having full control of this choke point right now, eliminating it. And you can see it as well in the kill feed there for the most part on the side of Hand of Unity right now. In terms of kills, I actually saw the Templar get more kills from a Curse Bomb, a double kill if you will, from the Curse Bomb here. But Hand of Unity pulling people back and forth by the Riftstone here on the side of Aura, trying to clump them or trying to just like distract them or stop them from spinning or whatever, what have you. Seeing as Zackrill's here, probably Altzy is here as well. I see Altzy right there, biding his time, hoping to not get caught out before he can get the spin off. He's gonna come in, see that clump, pulls people in, gets the spin. 3, 2, 1, here we go. How many kills can he get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get HOU out the door. Amoglu with one again here. Clowns with another one. They have full control of this corridor going into the rift. Now, with Aura getting control of this rift almost completely with a minute left on the clock before the rift opens up.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm seeing Aura, an interesting strategy coming through for Hand of Unity. You click on all of these people in this main room. They're either a tank or they're a healer. And there is no exceptions. I don't see a single person who is not a point camper, a tank, or a healer in the main room for Hand of Unity. And you have to think that that is intentional right now. If you want to give us the main room perspective, I'm going to go outside and see what's going on outside here. So you can see what's going on in the main room. You look on the outside. Yep, here's all of the DPS on the side of Hand of Unity, basically locking down the various corridors, making sure that their tanks and their healers can get back to the fight and can contest this point. What an interesting strategy. I've not seen a guild really attempt this, but where you only put tanks and healers on that point. They're basically just trying to sustain for all of their life right now. You see two statics duking it out on both sides right now in this hallway right here, and then you look down into the main straight right now. And again, I'm not sure that Hand of Unity is going to be able to hold the point consistently against Aura if they don't commit at least some DPS to the main room here. They're gonna go for the interact, but no one is gonna take it quite yet. Raids gets really low. He's gonna go down. It looks like no, dashes away. Can he catch a heal from literally anyone? No, he's gonna die at the end of the day. Finally, Hand of Unity starts to commit a few more people into the room right now. We're starting to see Scythe run in with the rest of his static now. There's Jabba right there. A couple of the DPS finally moving through to try to help reinforce this fight. I think they're realizing that the tanks and the healers can't do it all by themselves, and the kill feed is very back and forth, but neither guild really coming out on top quite yet. You look over at the kill feed, it's Aura on top. Wawa, Clowns, Kimseer, Palico, Scythe, Calyx, I Crashed, and Jappa trying to keep up, but again, I think that this is in large part to how they chose to split their damage at the start of this fight. Look at Aura dominating on the DPS leaderboards with Kimseer on top there as well. Damage taken, very Hand of Unity favored, as you might expect. They've been punching bags for the first part of this match, but look at the healing on the side of Hand of Unity, absolutely coming up big for their guild. Neither guild interacting with the stone quite yet. Altzy with his back to a wall, gonna go for a big spin right there. Zackreel keeps him alive, keeping him healthy. You can see him right there next to him, trying to keep Altzy, the president, alive right there. Reddy's gonna go for the interact on the stone on the side of Hand of Unity. Gonna get interrupted though. He's gonna go for it one more time. Can they interrupt him again? He's going 60, 70, 80. Are they gonna let him have it? They do, and this is a failure. Right now, wait, no, it was Aura that it was interacting with the stone. It's Aura that gets it. It's the front line that fails for Hand of Unity right there to stop that interact on the point. And it's Aura on top of this match coming out of the gate here, LF.
Yeah, I'm wondering how Aura was able to get that so handily. I wonder if it's a melee evasion approach here on the side of Aura. And right now, Aura giving Hand of Unity a taste of their own medicine, canceling Reddy as soon as he can here. So I'm wondering if indeed the strategy here on the side of Aura was to go melee evasion to prevent the only stoppage that they've been receiving so far from the side of Hand of Unity. And Hand of Unity right now kind of like suffering and struggling rather to get to take on this rift. And not only that, but also struggling to have the numbers on this rift as well. It's still very close. They still have the numbers advantage right now because they have other side on the other side of Aura. They are ganking people on the run back here. That's why they have less numbers, but they're not worried right now, Blue, because right now they don't even want to take it at 17 minutes probably. But then again, at the same time, Hand of Unity is not even participating in this right now. Raid's trying to go for a 50%, gets pushed off immediately. And yeah, Hand of Unity struggling to get control of this point right now to the point that they can actually get the take on this trip, because if they do, they have the numbers advantage here right now, and that's all they really need. But again, Aura doing an excellent job of preventing them from taking, which is exactly what they experienced versus Hand of Unity in the first round. So right now, if I were Hand of Unity, I need to decide really quick right now. Most of our collision resist takers are struggling at the moment. Do I have anybody that can reach 4K plus melee evasion and can actually get the take on this rift? Because we have had the numbers advantage on this a few times, and especially like right now where we do have the numbers advantage, where we need to get the take on this rift, because right now this is the final match of the finals, boo. It's 16 minutes and 30 seconds left. There's still quite a bit of time, but you know for a fact that you cannot waste time. You need to get the take on this rift, or at the very least you need to get your percentage up on this rift so you can go for a take in sub 10 minutes, and then that's exactly the play that you need to go, and then you start disrupting people on the side of Aura again, and that's how you take it into the final stretch of this tournament. But right now, again, HOU just struggling. You can see right now there's about 4 people of Aura on the rift side right now, but they're able to take KEKW right now, able to take away the people that are trying to get the priority on this rift right now. Raids at 80%. Will he get it off? He will not. So right now, again, they're facing the same amount of resistance that HOU that they were giving Aura before with the same amount of people. Muku right now, the absolute collision chance god, is not a collision resistance god as he gets pulled away, and they struggle to get the take on this rift. They have to get this now, Blue. 15 minutes left. They have had the advantage this whole time. They could have been around 70 or 80% by now and have had control and a comfortable control on the rift to the point that they can actually have it on their side for the majority of the fight and then take it in the last few minutes of the fight.
I'll be honest with you, I was following iCrash for quite some time right there, and whoever is healing for that guy is an absolute god. He's getting barriers for his entire health bar, and he's also getting healed every time he takes any damage at all. He gets immediately healed back to full health like he's the president. It's so cool to watch. There's a reason that guy is at the top of the DPS leaderboards, and it's not just because he's good, it's because he's static. He's just that good. It looks like 23 people on the point as the percentage continues to climb for Aura right now. It's starting to look a little bit dire now on the side of Hand of Unity as their frontline on who has been so consistent in this matchup so far. Their frontline who has been their shoulder to lean on. The boys carrying them just cannot come up with a cap on their side. Reddy's gonna go for it, but gets interrupted immediately as Aura's frontline. They start to work together. They start to keep interrupting this. Reddy's gonna go for the interrupt one more time. Yep, there it is. Reddy gets interrupted again. Zachary will push across the room here as we see Raids now stepping forward. We'll see if he can't make anything happen. They have enough presence on the stone. They have a lot of people on the stone, but it's Aura with the control of this. Can they get there? No! Barely get knocked off at 95% on the cap. Not gonna get it. Muku's gonna interact with it one more time. We'll see if he can get it. 20, 30, 40 and climbing, 70, 80. Is this the one? Is he gonna get there? They try to kill him. He will die for it, but he will initiate the cap for Hand of Unity. He went down swinging like Terminator 2. He went into that lava pit. He said he gave the thumbs up, and we were all crying as we watched him went down, but he got that cap off, and that was so important for Hand of Unity. Now they need to get people in this room because that cap was so hard to get off. They have got to get people on this point right now, LF.
Yeah, exactly, and this is the game plan, Blue. Remember, it was Hand of Unity who chose this map. They chose Kawazan, and here comes the take. What is the game plan? Whatever game plan that they had before, they're absolutely trying to execute it right now as we are going back and forth when it comes to the numbers on this rift right now. And HOU, let's see what they have in store. They struggled for about 6 minutes to even get the take on this rift, but it looks like it's going back down to 0, 97, 98% on the side of Aura right now. Will they, at this point, if I'm Hand of Unity, I just give it right now.
Yeah, okay, it is going to be Aura taking it home with 100%, and now that might have been intentional. Raid's going to go for the cap on this. There's 12 and a half minutes left on the clock. That will be just enough time. If they've planned this out perfectly here, we see Hand of, do not count them down and out, guys. Part of this could have been intentional. They got Aura to cap the stone initially. There's 12 and a half minutes left on the clock. They have got to get a cap initiated. They have got to get people in this room. And I'll be honest with you, you take control of this, you just immediately pop Guardians and you go. Because I think that you can reverse cap this no problem if you're Hand of of Unity here. You can see that the kill feed is typically very back and forth, but there's a lot of aura in this Rift Room right now, putting on a clinic. Raid's going to step forward, try to interact with it right now, but he's going to get interrupted right away. They're not going to let him do that on this one. He needs more support in here. They've got to pull basically the entire guild into this room now, because again, I think they have a lot of DPS outside trying to skirmish right now. They're getting pushed around and pushed off this point. They don't have enough people committed to the point right now. We're under 12 minutes now, and again, every single minute that goes by is a minute that slips away. You have to remember, Hand of Unity chose this map, okay? They won on their previous map. They won on Leviathan. They lost on Leviathan. They won on Azrael. They chose to come here. It would feel so bad as a leadership core and as a guild to lose on the third map, to get all the way to the finish line and lose at the finish line with your guild like this. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to check the outside right now if you want to give us the inside perspective. Yep. I'm not sure what's going on necessarily with Hand of Unity. A lot of them being interrupted with Rave. Cat Abuser out here as well. And Gwaski and their static trying to interrupt the regroups right here. A lot of skirmishing going on in this hallway as well here. And again, this is not good for Hand of Unity. Aura loves this. Aura is stalling this match as much as they can. They actually own the Riftstone in its entirety right now, as Hand of Unity seems completely routed. What are they doing right now on the side of Hand of Unity? I'm trying to find them, but I just don't. I can't find them. They're out here. They're out here literally just trying to get regrouped right now, but it's one static. We're just going to sit out here and kill one static basically on repeat. They're just going to keep spawning. You have got to go. Finally, they split off to the left. You see them splitting into the main room as well. We should see the engage come through in just a moment. We see Muku on this left side. They are in position. Looks like they're just going to push straight down the hallway. There they are from both sides like this. But I'll be honest with you, this is not good. The Cordy spins are ready. Alti and Amoglu both spin in the hallway. And this side of the engagement just gets absolutely wiped. On this side, the left side fared a little bit better on this one LF, but not good if you're a Hand of Unity fan right now.
Exactly. Alti was waiting on the side there, and as soon as the push happened, he just dove in, spun, got his, kind of like had his way with the choke point there on with Hand of Unity. And right now, it's like if it's only less than 10 minutes left, the kind of like dangerous part of this is usually around 12 minutes or 30 minutes. You want to pop Guardians right away, right? So that way you have it in the last 3 minutes, the last 2 minutes, in like the crucial parts of the fight, right? But now we're sub 10 minutes now. If they haven't popped their Guardians yet, they need to pop it now, because 9 minutes may not even be enough to get this rift right now on the side of Hand of Unity, and they need to secure it.
Yeah, people are saying the Hand of Unity shot caller disconnected, but guys, he can just reconnect to the lobby. It's not the end of the world, dude. We have DCs all the time. They can just come right back. And again, they chose this lobby. And again, playing on the Motorola Razr with your phone in an internet cafe, probably not the best strategy for success as a shot caller. But you know what? It is what it is. It seemed to work for them on Azrael, but it's not working for them now here. We tick underneath the 9-minute mark. Aura looks like they're holding on to this match right now. Hand of Unity looks disjointed. They don't look like they've got what it takes to be number one at this moment, because Aura is starting to tighten the clasp of this match. They have got to get into the Rift Room right now, but they're just spending all of their time killing statics outside the Riftstone. Look at this. Ivan saying, hit me. I am here. Kill me. Come on. Over here like it's the movie Predator. And now, again, they're I don't know, man. They're just trying to flood into this stone one at a time, and the rest of Aura is just farming them on repeat. Where are Hand of Unity at?
Yeah, exactly. 8 minutes left, Blue. This is incredible. This is a very precarious situation here for the side of Hand of Unity. I'm not sure what happened to their shot caller, if he actually did DC. I mean, it's just
It doesn't.
I was a little bit.
He should be able to shot call from Discord. Like again, a good shot caller is going to have people streaming in Discord. He should be able. We see Waka and you and me. We all shot call from Discord streams anyways. So like DCing, they should be still organized. The shot caller, if he's worth his salt, should be able to shot call even being DC'd in this position. Sure, it's a little harder, but like you make it work. You should not see this much of a disjointed front on Hand of Unity right now, LF.
Yeah, exactly. The problem is I'm not sure if a Motorola can actually install Discord on the phone.
Versus 48. They're all in the lobby. He didn't DC. They're trolling. They're coping.
Okay, there we go. I mean, it does look like it if you think about it, like with how disjointed they were. But again, here, another play here, another push here for the Rift right now inside of Ready. He's trying his best to take it, but he's getting pulled off at even like less than 70% right now. Aura fully adapted to the gameplay that HOU had at Azrael. And again, we've said it time and time again, the guild that learns to adapt or adapts immediately or adapts the fastest to what the other side is trying to do is going to win the fight. And that's exactly what Aura is doing right now. They did what they did on Leviathan. They had people distracting. They did it again here, despite this being a smaller map. And this is why, like, one of the reasons why I was so worried about like Kawazan being the pick is because like you're still kind of allowing, even though to a smaller degree, the kill squad on the side of Aura to do what they were doing on Leviathan. And that's just incredibly dangerous, especially since HOU's game plan for the most part has been to let their healers and let their tanks get into the Rift side and get this pressure in, play life over there. And in the meantime, a lot of their DPS are very vulnerable on the outside because they're getting left behind, because like the only play that they can make because of how solid their front line is to get here first and try to get pressure on the Rift.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If they don't start trying to cap this, they've got to initiate a cap now. It's all strategy out the window. Your strategy is not working. You've overthought this on Hand of Unity's side. That again, they only had tanks and healers in here that sacrificed the main room. That was not a good play at all, and they got punished for it super hard early on. Whether or not your shot caller DC, he connected right back, and he should be able to shot call from Discord. Everybody knows that. If you're worth your salt, that's a copium excuse as it is right here. I think that Aura just has their number. I think that the leadership chose a poor map to try to execute on right now. This is a very strategic map right now, and Aura basically just putting all of their eggs in this basket right here. Aura basically just running through Hand of Unity. Hand of Unity has got to try to cap this, and they keep getting interrupted now as they step forward. Where is the rest of Hand of Unity? I'm starting to get frustrated now with this guild. Like, where are all of you? What are you all doing out here? There is no way I come out here and they're all fighting out here on this side. Nope, they're coming around the side of the fight. But again, they're just being interrupted by one static. And now they're starting to realize, oh God, we're running out of time. And now they're all trickling into the Riftstone to try to make something happen right now. But I'll be honest with you, I think that we are 4 minutes away, just over 4 minutes away from crowning the kings in EU. And I think it might be the same guild it was last time, LF.
Exactly, and it is looking exactly like that right now. If you look at the kill feed, it's all yellow on red. It is absolutely Aura dominant right now. They looked a little bit shaky on Azrael, and they adapted almost immediately. Got the frags, got the take, got the life, got the rift on the side of Leviathan, and then headed over to Kawazan, which was not even their pick. And for some reason, they're making it look like it's theirs, even better than the dominance that they showed on Leviathan. As open as this rift can be, having multiple entrances here on either side, they are still some way, somehow able to stave off any type of offense on the side of Hand of Unity. And Hand of Unity right now, push as they might on the rift here, as much as they play life on the rift, if they do not have a take on this rift, they are running out of time. 3 minutes 44 seconds. Even if they try to take it now, even if they do take it now, it's still going to be very much up in the air. It's not even going to be 50-50. It's probably like a 10% chance that they win this at this point, with the amount of dominance and amount of staying power that Aura is displaying right now. It is almost impossible for them. I see not a single taker on their side on this rift.
I don't understand. I think it might be a bit of a caller diff. The only people standing on the stone consistently for Hand of Unity the entire match have been healers and tanks. The DPS have not made almost any effort to try to get through into the main room here. Again, that's a healer. Noki's a healer. Again, there's Brutes right there. There's a tank. Billy the Kid, that's a healer. Again, where are the DPS? There we go. Finally getting a few DPS through, but honestly, these are all, there we go. There's Nap getting through as well. Finally, they're getting a kill feed. There's 3 minutes left on the clock. This cap needs to go off. It gets interrupted. That's GG.
Oh.
Almost certainly their capper is going to go down. Muku's going to try to camp on the other side. I think that Hand of Unity has chosen a poor map, executed poorly, and they just got out-called. They got outplayed on the Riftstone. Of course, you hand the loss to the entire guild, sadly, but I think that Aura has demonstrated enough dominance that these guys march through through. They lost exactly one game in both tournaments put together, or both tournaments all together. They lost once to Disaster, and the best in Guild T1 ran through that tournament. They lost one time to Hand of Unity and ran through this tournament. They are kings of EU, undisputed kings of the world, LF.
Yeah, exactly. And now, right now, there is still a Immortal trying to step to them right now. They might have had a relic of the gods, but gods themselves are gods at the end of the day. And in the gods of EU, it is going to be Aura, aka Sin, the best guild, and the same guild that won the first tournament in EU. They are showing exactly why, systematically, they are just the better guild, the better organization, and have the better shot caller when it comes to taking this map. And right now, something that we should have seen 10 minutes ago is now happening for the side of HOU, but unfortunately it's too little too late. Even with a double take right now with 1 minute and 22 seconds left, it is no longer enough. There is no more hope to be had. Give up everything, including any of the hopes that you had of winning this tournament, because it is far too late. Aura also getting this back and forth right now, really kind of staving off any type of hope, any type of spark, any type of fire that HOU might still have left in their hearts, and they are staving it off and really just shutting them out and eliminating them from this tournament, leaving them at second place.
Yeah, absolutely no shame at all, getting second place in the region that has the most active region in the world for guilds, almost 2 times as active as North America. I'm not sure how they compare to Asia, but Europe definitely has a tremendous amount of players. To come out and be second in this tournament is absolutely no slouch as a leadership core, as an organization, but it is going to be second place both times to the same guild both times. Certainly that gap has closed, but that gap is still there. Kings of EU once again will go to Aura, and these guys just cannot be stopped. They are masters of Throne and Liberty in T1, in Talandre. These guys, there's all the GGs coming down on both sides right there. Unbelievable finish. You couldn't ask for a better series than that. All the way to 3 games just like that. And we thought that Hand of Unity had it in this one because they chose the map. It was their opponent's map. They still came out and won the day. Absolutely super impressive for them. We'll get winners interviews here in a second. Let's take a look at the leaderboards first. 92 kills for Wawa, Kimseer, Clowns, Palico, and Ivan, all in the top 5 right there. Outlaw, if Outlaw has 1 million fans, I am one of them at 44 kills down there. You see him. It does look like the top kills for Hand of Unity look like it's I Crashed Wagon, Key, Cryptos, Roulette, and Cried down there. It was rounding out that top end for them. Assists on the board, it looks like it's going to be Scars and Budapenza. It looks like the top for Hand of Unity is going to be Jeppa again at 87 right there. Damage taken, looks like 6.7 million damage done for Kimseer. Budapenza at 5.9, getting gapped by Kimseer, but still number 2 in the lobby. Clowns at 5.4 million. Jeppa, the top for Hand of Unity at 5.4. I Crash down at 4.7, and Scythe rounding out the top 3 on this side of Hand of Unity. Damage taken 2.1 million for a healer. Explosion is art, taking a lot of punishment in that fight, but he was one of the ones out there with his static spawn camping the entirety of the enemy guild. He was doing his best. Cried, Just Block, Dunkel, all the top tanks of the lobby. Again, Just Block looks like he is a Templar, interestingly enough, but you say Templar, but he's running the DPS Templar. We haven't seen a tank Templar in quite some time in this in this meta game here. If we scroll down to look for our first Crusader, it looks like it's going to be Kiyakami for Hand of Unity down there. Dusk's top tank of the lobby is going to be a Scorpion, interestingly enough, on Ivan right there. The amount healed, 3.2 million damage healed. For Dunkel, Kokelu, 3.1 million. Timeless Explosion is art. Scholasticon coming up here, rounding out the top 5. What a great healer he is as well. Sierra, Gigabit, Hemgis, Kirsha, ZV, and II rounding out the leaderboards for both guilds. I'm sure that Zachariel is down here as well. I'm sure he can't be anything but happy with his guild's performance in this one, LF.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure Zacro right now, and he is streaming, is probably all smiles. And I'm checking him right now. He's like fist pumping up in the air right now, really cheering on here right now. Zacro, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Hands in the air, smiles from ear to ear. I'm pretty sure the rest of the guild is feeling the same way, especially with such a legendary comeback from a game 1 loss to a game 2, game 3 absolute banger, absolute dominating victory on the side of Aura.
Yeah, you can see just how happy Zach is right there. He could probably come in for the interview if he wants to, but we'll get the winners and the losers interviews right here as the guild celebrates their victory once again here. It was good fights to both teams. Aura came out clearly as the slightly stronger guild once again, but it was so much closer this time. In T1, they lost 0-2. Hand of Unity brought it back, bro. They won on Azrael. That was so convincing. They had Leviathan in the palm of their hand. Let it slip away. Aura managing to weasel their way into that Riftstone and then losing on their own map choice was Kawazan. Absolutely tragic, but we'll go ahead and pull them up one at a time here. I'll go ahead and pull up Hand of Unity first here as well. We'll get that interview first. We got Hand of Unity's Raylam here. Clearly, Raylam, that was way closer than it was in T1. You guys came so close. You guys won Azrael so well, so convincingly. 13 minutes you kept them from getting a cap, basically, overall. And then you go to Leviathan. You had control of Leviathan almost the whole time, too. And then you let it slip away on Kawazan. That had to be heartbreaking, but don't be discouraged, man. You guys are number 2 in one of the most competitive regions in the whole world. Certainly the most players in this region in the whole world, and you are number 2. How are you guys feeling? How are you guys taking that loss right now?
Well, it sucks, of course, to lose, but it was good fun and a great fight, so yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, okay, so I'm gonna ask you a few questions here. What do you have to say to your guild that spent all of the time grinding and pushing to this point, everything culminating 21 days of competition for just the tournament itself, all the grinding you've done in Talandre and in T1, the organization you've done as a guild, every sign up every day and things like this. What do you have to say to everybody in your guild and then like to the other guilds watching from home that maybe you knocked out already in this tournament?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone in the guild for all the effort they did. The past months has been a lot of work. People have been playing kind of non-stop daily activity in evenings. Always 48 people online, almost locked in, grinding content, VOD reviewing, all the coaches together, the whole leadership staff. Lots of effort by Sebi and Kuhe as well from leadership. All the behind-the-scenes stuff that not everyone always sees. Yeah, just everyone was locked in. It was a great fun ride in Tier 2, and we'll see what the future brings.
Yep, absolutely. Well said right there. Well-spoken man right there. Now, I have a question. As the number 2 guild in EU, certainly you guys have mastered the metagame of the game overall. You're masters of Talandre here. And certainly your opinion carries a fair amount of weight, so you speak for your guild here. What do you feel you loved a lot about this expansion? And then respectfully, if you could tell us what you feel could be improved on in the game, what you feel needs work so that people can continue to enjoy this game.
Yeah, the most fun content was at the launch of Tier 2 for me personally, and as a guild, just the boss portals, grinding the loot, actually fighting over something relevant, along with the war games and the tournament. For me personally, an improvement to the game is, we've kind of ran out of stuff to care about. There's not that really, like boonstones, there's too many on the map. There's not really, we're not really getting contested or fighting over it. Siege is too infrequent, although that's kind of changed. And the boss portals are kind of dead content now. No one really cares, about the boss drops anymore. There's no real chase items because our boss weapons became so relevant. So it would be nice to have more content to fight over as a guild, Also, yeah, Nebula is kind of Blob Alliance content, which is not really to our liking either. So yeah, more guild-focused content with an actual goal or reward instead of this, pointless stuff because most guilds are not motivated for it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Okay. I have another question for you. Who do you feel is the strongest region in the world? Do you feel like EU could beat NA?
EU takes everyone, yeah.
All right, well, I hope that we get to see that someday, and I hope to see Hand of Unity helping represent EU. whether you win or lose. Great job today. You guys keep your hands held high. You do still get a portion of the prize pool, just not necessarily the whole thing. Great job today, Raylan.
Yep, thank you for organizing the tournament, and GG to Aura. It was very fun finals.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Good job.
All right. Now we're going to pull the not one, but two-time tournament victors up here. First, they did it as Nova. Now they're back as Aura. It's the same boys once again. I'll be honest with you, Kiri. It was a lot closer than we thought it was. I'll be honest. We got like 10 minutes into map 2, and I was like, ruh-roh, Raggy. I don't think that this is going necessarily super well. How did you guys feel after map 1 coming into map 2? That had to be demoralizing. And then on Leviathan, you choose Leviathan, and you're running behind on that stone. You guys had to have panicked at least a little bit there.
Geez, for the first map, it was definitely, they caught us off guard. I think we had decent control throughout the game, but they had a little secret tech where they jumped over that back wall on the site. That kind of caught us off guard. I think that honestly came down to why they won that map. As for Leviathan, though, we were pretty much winning the whole time. I think it wasn't really too close on the points. We did have to full regrip at the start, but we were never under the pressure, I think, on Leviathan. I think we always had that one in the bag. Overall, though, we were pretty confident after the first round. Even though we lost that first match, all the guys just performed so much better under pressure, and it really showed today. So I'm really proud of everyone. They all did really well.
Yep, absolutely. It also takes balls of steel to say, bro, your opponent got to like 86% on Leviathan. You were not, in fact, in control for the first like 10 minutes of the match. And you're like, nah, it's fine. We had it. It's all good. That's crazy. So how were you feeling about being, about the Kawazan pick? Did that kind of catch you guys off guard? Because that caught us off guard for sure.
I think we kind of expected it from Hands. We knew it was like one of their stronger maps, and I think they thought they had it against us as well. Personally, I didn't want to see Kawazan. I would have preferred a different map. I thought the map might have favored them a little bit, but it was the third game in our best of 3. Everything was on the line. The guys always pull through. They clutch under the pressure. So regardless of the map, at the end of the day, I think our guys are always going to win, regardless of who or where it is.
Absolutely sick. Okay, so all of the work that it takes as a leadership core to keep everything together, not across one expansion or one MMO release. And it's one thing to be the dominant guild on an MMO release. I mean, that's super impressive in and of itself. But to come back into Talandre and do it once again, y'all have to be on top of the world. I mean, I saw Zach, the comms had to be literally going insane. How does that feel as one of the leadership core of your guild? That's gotta be a feels good moment.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. Everyone at the end of that third game was fuck. Jeez, I'm struggling to speak. I'm just so excited. It's such good vibes though. Everyone got like so emotional behind it. Some people started crying with tears. Like my DPS Broop was crying in tears at the end of the game. But yeah, from like a leader's points perspective, I've been helping manage this guild since Korea like 18 months ago. So to see it come all this way, it's truly heart-touching for me. I'm really proud of everyone, especially Timmy, who puts in the most work. I'm here taking the fame, but it all came down to Timmy and his efforts. So
yep. Timmy, thank you so much to Timmy. All right, right on. Now I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked our. You guys are kings of EU, arguably the best guild in the world potentially. At the end of the day, okay, certainly kings of your region, masters of the current metagame, and masters of the game across not one but 2 expansions now. What kind of feedback do you have? What things do you love about the game? What keeps you playing the game? What do you love so much about it? And then where do you think that they need to improve on as respectfully as possible here?
I've always loved the large scale aspect of the PvP for TL, and having them make that change with like the world bosses where they put them into the portals and like instanced like those fights, that kind of ruined a big portion of the game for me. As a guild, we're very hardcore PvP focused. We don't really do too much of like the PvE side of stuff. So ideally anything more somewhat large scale PvP, if they could add that back, it'd be really good. that's about it from me. It's just, I feel lately they're removing more PvP options from the game instead of adding them. And when they do add them, they're adding them in like small, like 6v6 arena stuff. And even then, they're putting limitations on like one sword, like wand. It's just ruining teams at that point. And ideally, I just want more like large scale PvP, because the war games that we have, the 48 versus 48, it's really good. I think everyone's looking forward to like battlegrounds and stuff like that. So hopefully they can start catering more to that kind of the PvP side of things.
Couldn't agree more with you, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Great job. Oh, LF, did you have something to say?
Oh yeah, no, not at all. Well, actually, one more thing. It's like I'm kind of like in agreement here with Kiri in a way. It's like, do you feel like in terms of like MMORPGs, and I think this is something that maybe the devs or maybe and whoever else is out there that needs to hear can hear it, is that do you think that like in terms of GVG in large scale, and I firmly believe in this myself, and I would like to hear your own opinion on this one, do you think that like any game out there in terms of large scale PvP compares to Throne and Liberty or scratches the same itch that Throne and Liberty scratches? And which is why that should be the focus instead of like, let's say like small scale PvP like 6v6.
For me, TNL was my first big like PvP MMO. I didn't really play many MMOs before this, but the biggest thing for me was when I first started playing the game was seeing the big 200 versus 200 like alliance fights at like the world bosses at the siege, and that was a completely new concept to me, and that's what made me like fall in love with the game in the first place. I really do wish that instead of catering, I understand you have to cater for the smaller audiences, like the 6v6, the 3v3 like enjoyers, but this game at its core is a large-scale PvP game. I really do wish that they add more stuff to like cater for that, especially the battleground options. But yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your opinion. It is certainly very valued and heard. Here, I appreciate you guys coming out and fighting in both and taking this tournament as seriously as you did. It warms my heart. That is exactly why I like to run this tournament. People get emotional about it. People say it's just a game. Yeah, those are losers that lost in the first round. Nobody cares. Like, that's just how it is. At the end of the day, this game, the simple fact of the matter is this is a lot more than just a game to a lot of us. It is our communities. It is our friends. It is some of our lifelong friends that you make in these MMOs, in these large-scale PvP experiences. This is where those bonds are formed. And, you know, I've met some of the best friends of my life playing in large-scale PvP. So it's really cool to see that you guys did get emotional at the end of the day and really appreciated everything. So thank you so much for coming out to participate in the tournament. Congratulations. You are crowned kings of EU on this one. I hope that we get to see NA versus EU versus, you know, even Japan and even Korea on this one. Now, what do you think? I'll ask you the same question. A final question. Do you think that EU beats NA, and by how much?
I mean, we watched a couple of the NA games, and realistically, you guys are all just trolling over there. Nothing makes sense. The comps don't add up. The DPS are playing just horrid builds. I don't think it would be close at all. And that's me being as gentle as I can put it. It would be too one-sided. It wouldn't be worth making an event out of it, I'm sorry to say.
That's crazy, bro.
This is the talk you love to hear before Google presents it to Amazon. That's exactly what we want to hear.
That is insane. NA East would roll you. Okay, I'm just on behalf of NA East. I'm just gonna say it. I hope we get an inner server, and I hope I'm showcasing it, because I swear, bro, that is gonna be cinema. That is going to be absolute cinema if they actually give us an inner server like that. So a cross server. It's certainly possible they could use Korea to host it. That way everybody's got bad ping. And that's just the way that it goes. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks so much, Kiri, for sharing your thoughts on the game and your experience with the guild. Closing this chapter of Talandre probably for Aura here. So on a good note, great job out there, Kiri.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us. One last thing before I leave, because my guildies will kill me if I don't say it, but thank you to everyone that participated in the tourney, especially Hands. You guys are a big reason of why we could progress so much. And the last thing I want to say is just fuck you to all the people that dodged. Sorry for my language.
Oh, that was
Also,
that made me a little hard. I'm gonna be honest. Thank you, see, because I can't say that.
gonna
But
throw
I,
one after,
I
yeah.
very much
well,
appreciate
I'll throw one
that.
more in. Fuck you to Speed. That guy's a clown. He doesn't deserve to be in the community. Sorry, I had to say it. But that's all from me. Thank you to everyone else that played in the tournament. It was good fun. Love you all.
I love
And
you.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much,
EU
Gary. I
is-
appreciate you, buddy. Bro,
You
Spin-
gotta love EU energy, man. Nothing held
Spin
back.
catching
Blue.
the stray at the end, bro. That's crazy. I love you, Spin. Holy moly, bro. That's crazy. I will tell you this, of the content discords and the toxic chats and the chat PvP going on, I gotta say, EU has the best, most active Discord of all of them. And I know that Zachariel's super happy right now. He's saying, let's go in DMs as well. So, guys, it's been the privilege of my career to host this tournament. Once I started doing tournaments for the EU community, I just have not stopped across multiple games now. I appreciate all of the support that the EU community. I know we've had some ups, we've had some downs through the tournament. It's been 2 months of just basically non-stop work, trying to organize it, trying to get the teams in order and everything, even before the tournament started. And then all during the tournament and everything, the guilds were willing to work with us. You guys stuck through it. I know it got frustrating at times. I really appreciate you guys coming out to participate in the tournament. Obviously, you guys deserve a tournament as one of the strongest regions in the world and one of the strongest PvP communities that I have ever seen across games, period, dot. So really appreciate the community. There's not a tournament unless you guys come out and support it and participate in it. So really appreciate everyone coming together for a tournament like this. I hope to put on more in the future, God willing. If they make like battlegrounds that are spectatable and stuff like that, that opens the door for 12v12. That opens the door for 18v18, 24v24. We could see some smaller scale stuff, would be pretty cool as well. But I want to give a shout out. Can everybody wave hi to Lucy in the chat primarily, and then all of our tournament directors at home who helped organize the EU tournament specifically, keep the ball moving on all the productions, handle all the drama, and certainly there was a lot of it, trying to manage over 2,500 people, over 6,000 worldwide. Like this was absolutely insane, and we appreciate all of their contribution to making the tournament run very, very smoothly. And one of the final shout outs I want to give, and it cannot be understated, we need to throw some W's in chat for AGS because they supported the tournament. Yes, I can put forth the 600 hours of essentially slave labor, not being paid, literally not sponsored. The ad revenue goes to the tournament directors, but you know what? I'm willing to put forth the effort, but I can't front the amount of money it takes to put up for the prize pool. Getting the word out there is also super hard. Getting that advertisement, the special drops, everyone getting the squad commander title. I can't wait to see people walking around with a squad commander title. That's the first time I've ever gotten a title in game. It's been super cool like that. So the tournament just cannot happen without AGS. And we made it happen. So God bless them for standing by me. And I appreciate all of the team over there. Tico, Bojo, particularly, so W Bojo being my contact over at AGS and helping coordinate basically, or helping coordinate my interactions with AGS there. Bojo certainly has gone above and beyond, doing a phenomenal job with the tournament. And again, absolutely, it's not Bojo. Oh no, I've just doomed him. Bojo with a J. Okay. All right. And finally, to my tournament shoutcasters. I know that Zachariel couldn't be with us today, but we had a little fatty GG shoutcasting with me today. LF, thank you so much for showing up and casting on the desk when I know the rest of the EU
Always
casters
a pleasure.
were basically unable to do it or in the tournament directly. So I really appreciate you showing up on behalf of the EU community and shoutcasting today. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can definitely find me at twitch.tv/littlefattygg. And just like as a last shout out, I love the banter. I love the trash talk that is in EU. And with that same spirit, I'm glad, besides Zachariel, I'm glad that the rest of your casters abandoned you guys so that NA could be here for you one last time. I love you guys. I love you, EU.
The shade is crazy, bro. Holy moly.
Oh, man. This is why I love you.
Yeah, that is literally insane. Holy, but just throwing the shade at him. Well, you guys know where to find him if you want to flame him at the end of the day. It is what it is. Okay. So the question has to be asked: do we play Chrono Odyssey, or do we go sleep? I have 3 hours of sleep under my belt. I shoutcasted all day yesterday, then played Chrono through the night, and now I'll be honest with you, I'm exhausted. But
I haven't slept yet either, Blue. Shall we go for Chrono?
Porque no los dos. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I will tell you this right now. I do not think that Chrono is going to scratch the itch that TNL scratches for so many people. So if you're a TNL fan and you love TNL, you're probably not gonna like Chrono like a crazy about. So just prepare yourself for that at the end of the day. But regardless, I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to hit the end screen here, and then I'll transition over to my normal scenes. We'll end the production right here, though, and we'll flip it over to my normal scenes. To all the people watching on Kick and YouTube, we now multi-stream. Thank you to everybody that upvoted all of the videos on YouTube, and we're watching the videos on YouTube as well for the tournament, because every single one of the matches is recorded and put on YouTube as well, so it's all documented, and you guys can see that. Those are always there for your viewing pleasure there. I appreciate everybody that interacts with the content, because that's honestly all I really get out of the tournament is follows, subscribers on YouTube, etc., and visibility overall. And also a lot of thank yous at the end of the day. I get the feels good moment of everybody. You know, people are crying, people are cheering. I want to be able to deliver some of the best times that people have ever had in gaming to people, and I feel like I got to do that with the EU tournament today, so that was amazing. Thank you so much to all of the EU community who came out to participate, who came out to watch, who play Throne and Liberty every day, because it is one of the best MMOs on the market. I don't care what people say about it. It is what it is. It's certainly the best large-scale PvP MMO that we have ever seen in the genre. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your evening.